Club.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kurtz. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Look at the work Aaron Schachter's doing while we're all gallivanting around. Maybe not all.
That hit you, Case?
That was good, man.
Good work.
I dedicated that one to Kasey. Little John Sterling action in there.
I love it. You get Sterling in there. I mean, in that capacity.
Yeah.
It can't be Yankees win.
No.
We can all agree on that.
My jawbone breaks.
Yankees can't hit. It really hit me.
It really hit him.
Brent
Yankees
Martin.
having some hitting problems,
They
huh?
are having some hitting problems. Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz, we are back. Happy new fiscal year.
I like that.
Isn't that what the fiscal year runs?
Sure,
like July
why
through
not?
June or something?
Yeah, something like that.
If you were in economics.
Through
like,
the
I don't know
summer.
how that operates, but
Like August, maybe.
happy countdown to camp.
It's getting close.
Happy Josh Peterson Day.
Ooh.
How do we feel about that?
Little player news.
A little coach's son.
It's better than when they signed Tebow.
Is it?
Yeah, 100%.
This one won't sell as many jerseys.
Yeah, you never know. People want that Peterson jersey, dude.
It might be a good collector's item, actually. You get the old Peterson jersey, the new Peterson
Yeah,
jersey.
a
That
little
could
now
be
and
good
then.
stuff. So this kid played well in USFL. Louisiana Monroe guy, tight end position. They obviously lack a little bit of depth there, although they like what they have. They continuously say that. And we are coming up on a big deadline for Evan Ingram.
Oh, yeah.
This has nothing to do with that. All right.
Is there any coincidence or non-coincidence that Peterson becomes a tight end?
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating, right? But given his prowess for throwing to tight ends in Philly and everywhere else. And,
Everywhere Doug's gone, it's been a big part of the playbook.
Yeah. So maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I think that is more dictated by size, speed, other things. But he's going to get a shot in Jacksonville, whatever that means. I always think this is interesting. When you hire your friends or family or whatever, you might have to fire them as well.
Yeah. That's a weird one.
Right?
Although, I don't think they would put him in that position, would they? Like they would.
It's bulky. You'll be the bad guy.
Yeah. It's like, Dad, what do you need? Son, I need you to bring your playbook.
That's it. I mean, but you have to have that conversation, bro. All you want is an opportunity.
Yeah.
That's pretty tough.
Yeah, like if you're an assistant coach on that staff and you got to tell Doug that your son isn't working out, like that's a tough conversation.
That's a great call. Like, Angulo, the tight ends coach.
Yeah.
How do you?
They have to
How
have
do you
that
broach
conversation
that?
ahead of time, right?
Doug knows the
Yeah,
game, right?
yeah.
Listen, the way we talk about our own kids sometimes, Doug might be the one like, damn, man, he sucked today.
Oof.
That could happen.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think these things are hard to do if you're Doug Peterson because of people are going to think like, oh, yeah, he's just getting a chance because he's my kid, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he gets a chance elsewhere. Maybe. I mean, the rosters get bigger. Rosters are at 90, and people need help. And he had some good times in the USFL. Those are considered to be leagues now where people come from and play and try to get opportunities. Like, it's not like he's the first one ever to do it. The Tebow thing was so different. Obviously, it wasn't related to Urban Meyer, but it kind of felt that way, right?
Yeah.
And only Urban would have given him the chance, it looked like, to be a tight end, move positions, and sign at Jacksonville. I don't get the feel that that's the case. I think Josh Peterson might have some chances elsewhere, potentially.
Why not take those up front then? It just seems like if I were putting myself in his shoes, I'm thinking the first thing anyone's going to say to me is, you didn't earn this role. You were given it because of your dad. And clearly, the kid's got talent. You know, he just played pretty well. So, I don't know. If it were me and I had opportunities elsewhere, I might have thought maybe take those first, if possible.
Yeah, but you said something earlier. this guy's good at developing tight ends.
That's
Is
true.
there anybody better from a head coaching
Maybe
perspective?
Andy Reid, maybe, but that's about it. Yeah.
So, and Jacksonville might have opportunities. Their depth chart is not super great at the tight end spot.
Yeah.
So I think if you add everything up, take the last name out of it, why wouldn't you come here? And by the way, you're going to play with Trevor Lawrence, and you know your dad's system.
Yeah. Been learning
Right?
it since you were a kid. Yeah.
You've been around it. So from an acclimation standpoint, this could be a good opportunity. Here's where those guys live in a different world than most of us live in, I think. Many people hire their children, kids, whatever. I mean, there's lawyers in town and whatever that stays in the family. It's
Sure.
family business
Family
stuff,
business.
whatever. And they do that, and they never have to probably fire them. Now, there might be some circumstances where, like, kid, you really suck at this, and we have to make a move and pivot and put you in some other spot.
Or sometimes
because-
it's not even work related. Sometimes just the person, the parent and the child just don't get along.
Yeah.
And can't work that way.
I think these guys in the sports world are different animals, right? I think, first of all, for what you just said, Josh Peterson, probably there are people at Louisiana Monroe, because of the connections to Louisiana with Doug anyway, that he's already gone through some of that part of it. He doesn't care what social media is saying or anybody else. He knows he's good enough to earn an opportunity. And Doug also, I would think, knows that he's going to have to probably cut him someday. At some point, he's going to have to cut him.
Yeah.
Unless he just becomes this NFL guy for a long time and stays in the Jags organization. But if we think Doug Peterson's going to be around here for a decade, guess what? He's going to have to cut his kids someday.
At some point.
So, and I think they understand that.
But still, to walk
It's
eyes
kind of
wide
a fun
open.
storyline.
Oh, it's a great story. But to walk eyes wide open into that, I guess that's the difference between me and someone like a professional football player, right? I'm sitting there going, this is going to be awkward. I don't want to even approach this.
And that's my point, Kasey, right? I mean, I don't think it's that awkward for guys like this. I think we see it enough. I think I'm not saying we see every NFL coach has their kid in the organization, but I think they handle it different than we think they're going to handle it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. And, some may say Doug's been waiting all his life to cut his son. You know what I'm saying? Because then he had the opportunity to coach him. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. That could be good, I guess. So that's the news out of Jacksonville today. Got a little football news, and that really came about, I think, on Friday. Everybody started to talk about this a little bit with Action Sports Jacks on the TV side. We had that for you over the weekend, too. But it becomes official today that the Jags signed Josh Peterson, add to the room. Here's the thing that we need to really address is the countdown to several things. Countdown to football season. Countdown to camp is on the way. The countdown to opening this Miller Electric Performance Center.
Oh, yeah.
The move is being made, right? I think next Tuesday or so we'd probably get more of an inside look at that facility. By the end of next week, we're talking next Friday, the rookies and quarterbacks and report. And then 2 weeks from tomorrow, the team reports. And 2 weeks from Wednesday, training camp is here. So football season is here. But before we get to that, the first deadline is next Monday. And that is Evan Ingram's extension deadline.
That might be the most important deadline out of all those deadlines.
Well, right now it certainly is. Yeah. And I still believe, somebody asked me this on social media over the weekend, and I believe this is going to get done.
Wow.
I can't tell you that I have great information. The last time we had any bit of information on this, it felt like, yeah, there was still opportunity to get it done, but it wasn't imminent. So I think this gets done because I'm more glass half full guy, and I know both sides want it to get done from player standpoint and team standpoint. What I don't know is agent. How tough of a game is Evan's agent going to play in all of this? And is it worth not getting a deal done because he thinks the value of the contract should be much higher, even though, as we've talked about for months and months, the free agent contract in tight ends certainly did not develop the way Ingram's camp and many other tight ends in the league thought it might.
It's actually another thing I was thinking about when reading about Josh Peterson. Is like, out of all the positions you could pick, you see some that are ascending monetarily. I wouldn't say that tight end is one of those positions, but I guess that's not as big a deal to some people as it might be to others.
So do you think it's going to get done? Again, this is a gut feeling thing more than anything.
So yes, here's why. Because Jacksonville wants to get it done and Evan Ingram wants to get it done. Right? I look at the Tony Pollard deal in Dallas. I see kind of the same thing. I think Tony wants to get that done. I think Dallas wants to get that done. Josh Jacobs in Vegas, I don't believe that. I don't believe Vegas wants to get that deal done. Saquon Barkley
I'm not sure
in New
Josh
York,
Jacobs wants to get it done.
I don't know that he wants to get it done either, not anymore. And then Saquon, I believe that Saquon would like to get a deal done, but for a specific price. I don't think New York has any interest in that price. I don't think that's the Jacksonville issue right now. I think they're just on their way and not urgent yet.
The thing about Saquon is there started the last couple weeks be a little bit of smoke that maybe they're
coming
more
together
willing
on it,
than you think. And that was, we haven't had a lot of those kind of moments. So it's been very quiet. And when I think it's quiet, I think things are coming together
Things
better.
are getting done, yeah.
You know, I feel like, I always say this about the kids when they were little. If you have little kids and it's super quiet, guess what? Things are getting done, and it's probably not in a good way.
Yeah, you got to go find out what they're
you
up
better
to.
go find out what they're up
But
to.
here's what I don't understand about that. When things are going poorly, we know that players and sometimes teams will speak out about it. Like we saw this with Lamar Jackson this offseason, right?
Usually the agent will push something out, right?
But why not speak out when things are going good? Why not give the update to the fans? Hey, guys, I know you haven't heard from me on this in the last week when normally you were hearing from me all the time. Just know we're having conversations. I think it's moving forward nicely. We're not there yet. I'll get back to you in a couple of days. Like, that's something I think players can give to fans that they don't. And I think they do that because I think it almost gives up a little bit of the pressure put on the team, and I think it's nonsense.
I think in their minds, if they do that, they're giving up some leverage. I think the reason why you see it, first of all, good news like that, or that's not a newsmaker. You know, in our world today,
we're
saying,
moving forward,
hey,
but nothing's happening.
Forward, but nothing has happened. The hey, we don't like each other right now is news.
Oh, that's news, yeah.
Right, and also could be a leverage game from a public standpoint, even though I don't really think that works as much as people think. You don't think it works? I mean, not in like a tight end. Not in Evan. I don't think in Evan Ingram situation. Maybe in the Saquon Barkley situation.
See, I think in the Barkley situation it works.
It could work there because he's really like the star of the team. I mean, Evan Ingram, as much as I love him, I mean, he's not the star of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kasey, what do you think? Does it get done an extension by next Monday with Evan Ingram on this franchise tag?
I felt like no before. I still feel like no.
Yeah, you've been a no guy.
I don't know what. I mean, I understand where the motivation is from Evan Ingram's side. I get where some of the motivation could be from the Jags side, but you can't look at what happened in the tight end market this year and then be like, you know what? Let's pay this guy more than anybody else got paid. So I think the franchise tag, although it's not security for Evan Ingram more past this year, I get it. It's still a good payday for this year. And if I'm the Jags, I'm like, this is what we're here to do. And if it works out well for us and we go into next offseason, you perform again, then we'll talk again. But right now, I can't way overpay you than anybody else got paid in the free agent market.
I like what you bring up there because there's two things that I think could hold this deal up. And I really don't think it's like Doug Peterson and Evan Ingram. I think he's got Trevor Lawrence in the camp. I think really Trent Baalke's in the camp. Like, I think there are many people in the camp of getting this deal done. I do wonder about the agent because I think they did, and I get this. Like, if you have your eyes set on something, and it doesn't materialize that way, it's hard from a principle standpoint to come off that.
Yeah.
Like if you think your house is worth X money, right? And they're going to give you $25,000 less.
But you've been dying on this hill telling yourself this is what I'm worth for months.
It's hard to come off that and go to 25, even though that's what the market's telling you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's hard to do that. It's like I've been there in certain situations, maybe not that one, maybe it's doing your contract or whatever else. And you're like, this doesn't feel good because it wasn't what I had in mind, right?
Yeah.
What I thought it was. And that's why I think a lot of people leave contract negotiations not feeling as good as they thought, right?
So where do you think they end up?
Well, but the other reason I wanted to say I think this could get in trouble is I think the Jags have, since, again, the emotional time of the end of the season where everybody was kumbaya and emotionally like, we want to get this done. We love each other so much. And then the free agent market hitting, I think there's been a lot of calculations done. And this is where Kasey's point comes into play. Like, there's a lot of calculations and new quarterback deals getting done. And the calculations are not necessarily about the tight end market or about this deal for Evan Ingram, but it's about what next year looks like now that we've signed this many players, now that we have this much left in cap space. What does 2024 look like for us when we sign Trevor Lawrence to a big deal? And does this make as much sense as it felt like it made back in January, February, and March, and even April? But now that we've put the pieces together, now that we've drafted a tight end, now that we feel a little bit better about our room, does this make as much sense now that it's just a business decision? And I think that's what point Kasey brings up, and I think it's a good one where the Jags, their financial people, could go down the hall to Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson and say, I know you guys love this guy. I know you value him. But this does not make as much sense as you guys think. Could we get to that? I think if you take away the inner circle of this deal and go to the exterior part, the agent, the financial people, even of the Jags, I think you could hit some roadblocks on that outer edge of the circle that say, this is not as logical as you think.
What's the value of the tag for Evan again? Is it 11?
It's like 11.5, something like that, 11.8, 11.7.
So like market value on tight end, granted, Ingram's not your standard tight end, but market value on the tight end, especially this offseason, is somewhere around there, right? Around $12 million was someone got signed for it. Was it Schultz or Knox? Schultz.
Was it Schultz, a one-year deal?
Texans, $10.5 million or something like that. So if I'm Evan Ingram, like the tag doesn't hurt that much in that sense.
Oh, the tag's fine.
But then, like, I get that you want them to make an investment in your career. Can't there be a conversation? Maybe there is. Can't there be a conversation had between the team and Ingram's camp where they're like, look, with so many balls up in the air this year in terms of contracts going into next offseason, can we just play on the tag knowing in good faith that we still plan to negotiate a deal with you guys at the end of this thing?
Yeah.
Or do they not want to take the chance in free agency?
I don't think anybody's handshaking on that. I would be surprised.
Yeah.
Not to go another year on it. It's like, hey, do this again, and you're going to be even more costly than you are right now.
Yeah.
And when we don't have as much money because we got to pay the quarterback and other people, right?
Lots
it's
of
not
other
just
people.
the quarterback.
It's
That's
lots
the thing.
of people.
So, again, I'm sitting here telling you today that I think this thing's going to happen Friday, Saturday, Sunday, into Monday, something like that. But it's really just, I still believe that wins the day, that both sides would like it to happen. The logic in it, what Kasey's bringing up, the agent play in this, which that's why you hire that guy to get you the most money as possible and see the big picture. I could see it falling through on that side. So we'll see. And then regardless, I think Evan plays on the tag. I mean, obviously it makes $11 million. I don't see it getting to that point. I'd be surprised if that's the case. I don't see any bad blood.
No, I don't think he's going to hold
the
out
water here.
But he clearly wants that long-term or longer-term deal than 1 year, and I think the Jags are interested in that too. It's just, you're right. Like, how do you wrap your head around all of those contracts that are up in the air for next year? It seems impossible.
It's, Kasey, real MBB, Matthew, he believes with you. He says, when I asked if Evan Ingram deal will get done, William Anderson says, now I'm starting to get worried. Well, again, deals get done when there's a deadline to get done, okay? Like, that's just life. So I'm not worried yet. I still think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday are going to be the days to watch. Hey, could something get done earlier? Sure. But I think those are the days to watch. Matthew says there's a better chance of the Jaguars shutting out the Chiefs in week 2.
Wow.
Like, I do not feel that strongly against
Big skeptic,
this.
yeah.
I know you feel against it, Kasey, but you feel that strongly against it?
Bro, I don't know. The Chiefs are good. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Chiefs score.
Yeah, like, that's strong. Like, I don't think a deal's getting done.
I really don't think it is, too, though.
Oh, so maybe you tweeted this. Is this your?
It's a burner. It's a burner. Yeah. No,
It's Casey's Threads account.
I don't know, man. It just I don't see it getting done.
Are we going to do a tutorial on that? Like, how are we supposed to get on this Threads thing? Are we supposed to get on this Threads?
Just open up your Instagram. They'll shove it down your throat real quick.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm not there.
All right, good.
I heard you can't delete it. Is that real?
It's deactivation versus deletion. Basically, if you delete the account, you delete your Instagram account because Threads is Instagram.
They've tied it together.
Well, it's just like an option. It's like an arm of it.
Isn't it Facebook, Meta, whatever they call it?
So
aren't they the
Facebook
same
and
thing?
Instagram are different. They're both owned by Meta, but they're not the same platform. Threads and Instagram belong on the same platform.
Wow.
The Instagram group, that company within the company, made Threads.
I got you.
And so they're tied together. If you delete Threads, then it deletes the Instagram. If you delete Instagram, it deletes Threads. You can deactivate Threads, but they're still going to take your data because you agree to everything on the way in.
Right.
And you agree to a lot.
Did you make one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Should I make one?
No.
Have you had your first thread yet?
Not until Twitter disintegrates. You can say, you don't have to, here's the thing, not to digress from what we were just talking about, because this really doesn't
it was
matter.
a great topic, but this is more important, maybe.
With Threads, it's interesting because like
Evan.
when TikTok came out, you kind of had to sit on your username so no one would grab it. Like if I wanted to, I could grab your username before you did, and I could just parade around as Brent.
Huh.
But on Threads, it's tied to your Instagram account. No one can take your Instagram username on Threads.
Sweet.
It's yours. You're just sitting on it.
Very good.
It's like you own a piece of land.
Yeah, but you also can't change your name on Threads. It's just whatever Instagram is.
What if you change your Instagram name, that's your new Threads name?
I believe so, yes.
Huh.
Kasey, are you getting one?
No, sir.
Because I really don't want to.
Like,
I
it's
don't
another
want
platform to
thing.
manage. Like,
I don't
if
manage
Twitter still
Instagram
works
well.
for you, then you should be on Twitter. I think Threads was like, well, if you're one of these people who believe Instagram is a flaming pile of trash headed for the dumpster, then you get on Threads and kind of get used to the way things work around there. I'll say that there's not as many accounts on there as Twitter, obviously, at this point. You're not finding all the information you find on Twitter. But it is nice to have something that like functionally works better than Twitter now. And then I don't know if you guys saw a couple of days ago, Elon Musk limiting the amount of tweets you can see if you're not a paying customer.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that moved people
stuck?
over.
Like that's a
No,
lot,
that's got to
right?
be gone.
Is that gone? Because there was a limit, right? A rate limit thing.
Yes.
If you're not Twitter Blue, you had either 300 or 600 tweets you could see.
Is that all?
There's no way that still exists because it hasn't happened to me again, and I'd be on Twitter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
there were some technical issues where they pulled it back, but I do think
You think it's
plan
coming back?
I think the plan is going to move forward.
You know
yeah.
the problem
Maybe
with
we'll
that
get
part of it is they're shoving stuff down my timeline
That you didn't ask
algorithm-wise
for.
that I'm not asking
That's
for.
a really good point.
Right.
They're trying to give you things they think you'd be interested in. It's
Yeah.
going to count against you.
I'm seeing this stuff on my time. Like, why am I seeing this?
There should be a button to be like, I need this tweet back. I need a refund on this tweet.
That would be
I've got all of a sudden, I have no idea how
boy.
this happened. Like, do you know like the goofiest thing that's showing up in your algorithm?
Yeah.
I got to find this one, but it's like so morbid. It's like an account about people who died in crazy ways.
Oh, I see that.
Like, I don't know
see
why
that,
it's
but
on
I
my
kind of
account. Like,
I
why
kind
did-
of searched that out. So you might be getting the whip back from me because we're in the same room a lot and our phones are just like talking to each other.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's like a robot thing.
Like, it was like 1926.
Yeah, I'd be seeing
someone
that.
fired a spear gun and it ended up going through their eyeball.
Whoa.
And I mean, that seriously, it's
like a spear is way bigger than that hole, too. That's a good shot.
no, yeah.
Ah.
I mean, it's crazy stuff.
Yeah, I see that.
It's a good shot.
So this is because of you.
Probably.
I was like, what did I watch? Or like, I don't talk like that. All right. So like, I'm not talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
There's a TikTok account that does the same things and it plays creepy music and you just like swipe through all these things. I do that at like 3 a.m, dude. It's epic.
Now, I
And then
will
don't
say
sleep.
some of the stories are fascinating.
Ah, they got you.
They did kind of get me.
gotcha.
See?
And I'm actually clicking on them.
It works.
It does work. Like, listen, these
You're like, how did
people-
that happen?
It's pretty fascinating.
Interesting.
So anyway, I don't know how. I just want listen. I've got a lot of like youth baseball stuff. I get it. Like I understand why that's on there, but
Here was my favorite part about Threads. Anyone who opened up Instagram the day Threads launched or anyone who downloaded Threads on that day, you're presented with a list of your Instagram followers. And it's like, hey, do you want to follow any of these people? Or you can select follow all of them. So you select the ones and then you realize as you go through, because I don't know about you guys, but I haven't pruned my Instagram following list in years.
True.
yeah, me
So I'm like, oh, I got no interest in this, this, and this. But throughout the day, I'm getting notifications of people who followed me. And I'm like, oh, here's someone checking on me. I didn't know it was checking on me. Okay.
Oh, now I kind of
Here's,
want
like
it.
here's an ex from a couple of years ago trying to see all my stuff.
Who's checking in?
Yeah. I was like, all right.
I mean, I gotta go try that. Hold on a second.
I can get
we'll
with
be
that.
back. Hey, one other thing about Twitter, you guys getting a lot of eggs following? You remember the eggs that you used to
the
follow?
bots are definitely
They're
back. Bots
They're
are back.
Welcome.
I mean,
Welcome to my page,
I'm
folks.
gonna have like 100,000 followers soon with all these damn things.
That's all that
Bots are
matters,
back.
Brent. That's all that matters.
They're going to be calling your son's baseball games next year.
AI. We'll be back. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Glad to be back. Hope you're having a fantastic summer. We talk some more football and other things when we come back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Grab that umbrella. I'm tracking scattered off and on showers and storms on this Monday through the day, with temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s. There will be a few showers that last into tonight as well, and it'll be cloudy and humid with overnight lows in the 70s. Stay dry. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Save up to 40% now during the Christmas and July sale at Beards Diamonds.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
We're in the middle of summer. Be ready for anything, on the road or off the road, at Nimnicht Buick GMC. No one will ever pay over MSRP at Nimnicht Buick GMC, the place where my family has purchased 6 vehicles since we've been in Jacksonville. Go to Phillips Highway or NimnichtBuickGMC.com. Are you looking for a used car under $18,000? Maybe one for the kids? Nimnicht has a great selection, over 300 used cars, trucks, and SUVs to choose from. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Nimnicht Buick GMC. GMC, we are professional grade.
Why let a plumbing company tear up your property to repair or replace your old cast iron pipes when Superior Plumbing and Pipelining's no-dig trenchless service can reline them in just one day? Request an estimate now at SuperiorPlumbingJax.com.
Smoothie King is a family thing for my family. I love the Lean One vanilla and strawberry. My wife Steph gets the Lean One chocolate. My daughter Kaylee, the Caribbean way. And Ty goes all out for the Hulk. You have choices at Smoothie King. Smoothies for everyone, and now smoothie bowls too. And this summer, plunge into extreme watermelon smoothies, now available at Smoothie King for a limited time. Enjoy extreme watermelon, or for something more tart, dive into the new extreme watermelon lemonade. Extreme watermelon smoothies, back for a limited time, only at Smoothie King. Rule the day at a Smoothie King in Jacksonville.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in your closet. The back of your closet. What am I doing here? Would you keep caviar in the back of your fridge with the ketchup and old milk? Yeah, I don't think so. So what happened to us? I mean, have you seen my label? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Sure, I never really fit you quite right, and one of my pockets is so small you can't even squeeze your hand into it. But it's all about the look. And I look good. I need to get back out on the scene so I can be seen. You know, going to fancy parties, getting expensive iced coffees, Sunday fun days, okay? So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Here's your quote for a new AC system, and if you sign this 10-page contract in the next 3 seconds, we can install it day after tomorrow.
Wait a second, something's strange. You're my third quote, and it's exactly the same system and terms as the first two. How can that be?
Well, corporate doesn't want me to tell you this, but we're all owned by the same corporation. Less profit when you earn trust over time. Better to buy established AC companies. That way the customers have no other options. Corporate says benefits. Yeah, that's it.
I have another option. I'm calling Hammond.
For generations, Hammond continues to be the most recommended AC company by your neighbors. Make the switch to Hammond Air Conditioning instead of an out-of-town corporate AC company, so you aren't forced into higher prices, fewer options, and worse service. Summer's a perfect time to call him. They are experts on how an AC system can lower your electric bills and get you great rebates at the same time. Go to HammondAir.com.
Rich Jones here. If you're an investor who's interested in doing well while doing good, getting solid returns on your investments while making a positive impact, consider investment funds with DLP Capital. Here's Don Winter, CEO of DLP Real Estate Capital, to tell you more.
With the current housing shortage in the U.S., investing in real estate, especially workforce housing, is one of the safest and most reliable places to invest. We invest in affordable housing for hardworking people and generate amazing returns for each of our investors.
To get your investor's guide and find out more, dial ** invest from your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690. Yeah, I like the tunes, Aaron Schachter. I want to know what you guys, we've hardly talked to each other.
We really
for
did.
2 weeks.
We did.
Well, you
I
guys
didn't
might
take
have
a break.
talked.
Nope.
More.
Not really. I sent him like 1 or 2 angry work texts that I knew he would enjoy.
Yeah. 1 voicemail.
How many about me?
0.
No.
Oh,
Very early on, I did send him a Bert text about something I wanted to do on the show, and we came back because I had watched a video of yours, but nothing else.
I actually saw, so for some reason, this is weird. I was working, I've been away basically for almost 2 weeks. We'll get into kind of what we did while we were gone. But I saw Aaron on Sunday because I was doing the show Sunday, Monday, Tuesday on TV. Mm-hmm. I believe it was just Sunday, Tuesday. And I saw, as I'm leaving the parking lot, I actually almost hit him. Because I'm like, it's like.
We're both racing
out
of there.
It's like 11:30 or whatever. Night. I don't know what time it is, but.
Yeah, it was like close to midnight.
Nobody's ever come. We have 2 entrances here.
Yeah.
And nobody's ever coming out of the other entrance at 11:30 at night.
Except for me.
I didn't even really look.
Yeah.
I almost got him. And so then we kind of talked to each other in that moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell are you doing here? It's a Sunday night.
Yeah, I like being here later much better than I like being here earlier, especially after everyone's asleep at my house. There's nothing going on. It's like I might as well go to work. It's kind of a weird thing to say, I know. But it's like, what else am I going to do? Like, my wife is asleep by 9:30. Kids are asleep, or at least in the bedrooms at like 8:30. And it's like I'm just waiting to pass out. When I've got work to do, I might as well go do the work.
It's a good thing you live at least like 17 minutes away or 18 minutes away, because like I would be that too if I lived like 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
But now I'm not tempted to do that.
You guys I didn't understand the commitment you guys really were putting in to come to work here. Now that I have another job in your guys' area of the world, and I be driving in the Autobahn lane as well as you guys, I'm like, this is kind of far, boys.
Yeah,
like, we're down here.
But you can fly in that lane. Just got to hopefully not get caught.
Because I'd be coming back like 3, 4 in the morning. Boy, I'd be going way fast.
I'll tell you what, have yourself a couple of kids, couple of 1, 2, 3 kids. You'll be cherishing that 30-minute drive.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Cherishing it.
That's some good time. I don't know where I was going with it, how we got into what I saw you. Oh,
we didn't talk much over the break.
that was the time we talked. Yeah, for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was it.
Nice.
And we actually were show
info.
planning already.
A little bit.
We were show planning last Sunday.
Casey, this is what happens when people love what they do, man.
I didn't talk to you guys.
So,
at all.
but anyway, like I didn't do much. I don't think Kasey did a whole heck of a lot.
Nope.
Aaron actually did work a little bit while we were.
I mean, I was working with my real job, my full-time job at Publix, not this radio show. But I also there was a lot going on here while you guys were out. You guys skipped our big charity.
I know.
Radio.
Felt bad about that.
You should.
I don't know why they moved it up to right after the 4th of July this
kids
year.
are counting on you.
I know. I tried to share as much social media.
They were, Casey. They were counting on him. And Brent
Count
did not
on Brent.
show.
Did a great job. Rich Jones, salute once again. And everybody. here
Aaron
at CMG.
Schachter did a decent job as well.
I bet you did, but Rich gets all the credit.
He really does get all the credit. Really the hero, just sitting there tossing to everyone constantly.
Over $300,000 raised for the Child Cancer Fund.
Yeah, new milestone. It was pretty cool.
That's very good. Congratulations.
Coolest for me, if I could have like a real heartfelt moment here. I know we don't do that a lot with me, but there's a kid there every year. His name is Riley.
Okay.
And he was a cancer kid a long time ago. He had an operable brain tumor.
Wow.
And they thought it was going to be terminal. And the dude, went through the Child Cancer Fund and had a lot of those resources funded by the money that Rich and those folks raise every year at Carathon. 15 years old. He does the Carathon every year with us. He's technically in as much remission as he can get. Like the tumor will always be there and they can't operate on it, but he's not going to die from it. And he's only 15. Like It's just going to be like a roommate in his head, I guess. And then he's going to live his life. Wow. And it's like a really strong story in that you're there in real life. This isn't like me telling you guys secondhand. Like I know this kid.
Yeah.
Like I sit with this kid. Like I've talked to him for years. So it's special in that respect. And, we have a lot of fun out there with those kids.
I hope to be there next year. The last 2 years have been, I think last year was right around camp time.
It was August.
There was something
there
going
was
on.
We were at, no, it was a preseason game.
Oh,
was it?
Preseason
It was the
game?
night game.
Yeah.
Because they did Hall of Fame to start the preseason early.
Yeah. So I missed it, and I don't want to miss it. So hopefully next year the calendar works, because I'll tell you, like, well, you just said that story, and we'll get back to sports in a moment. But when I was in Albany, we used to do telethons in Albany at the hospital, at Albany, a place called Albany Med, and it's some of the things that I remember about my career more than anything else.
It's
being
impactful,
in like a NICU unit. With these little babes, what the doctors do, what everybody does, the stories, the families. So on a different level, obviously that's what you experienced on Friday, and Rich Jones and everybody around here did such a great job raising money for. But it does hit you, man. Hits you a different way, gives you a lot of perspective. So hats off to everybody on Friday, and for all of you for supporting Carathon 2023, over $300,000 raised for Child Cancer Fund. And no easy way to pivot from that to let's talk some more football.
Okay.
But
well, how about Evan Ingram's going to need a lot more than $300,000 raised for him?
Yes, he probably will.
There you go.
The camp is actually on the horizon. Like, this is still summertime. This still feels like a long way from football, but they're getting these countdowns now. College football's starting to get into it. You're going to have SEC Media Days. That was announced today, I think it was. High school football's right around the corner. I mean, it's getting here. Like, it's kind of a fun time. On the other side of July 4th, it's pretty fun. And I think what's worth noting here for the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's like one of the most fun times ever. We said this in the last 5 or 6 months. We had a show where we said, is this the best time in Jacksonville Jaguars history?
To be a fan.
To be a fan, to be the organization, to be the owner, to be the GM, the head coach, anybody involved with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you might debate it a little bit. It might be the inaugural season, right? When you got the team here in Jacksonville and the build up to that. It might be one of the great years of coming off the 96 season or 99 season or going into that season, whatever it is. It might even be 2017 for some folks. But the bottom line is this one's in the conversation. There's plenty of hype. There's plenty of buildup. And the reason why we brought it up in that context months ago and why I bring it up again is because this organization now has two things that we think is a known fact. A very good head coach and a very good quarterback. And that you do have to go back to Coughlin and Brunell. And that's as close as this organization can come. And then on the other side of it, they've got a young core that you can really rally around in addition to these two guys. It's not old guys hoping to cling on for another year. It's young guys trying to be superstars. And you wonder how many can be superstars. And then the exterior of it all is now there's a stadium in the future.
Really, you're starting to stack
that conversation,
up a little bit,
right?
Yeah.
So you're starting to stack up all these things that are like, wow. What a time to be alive and be a Jacksonville Jaguars football fan. And that, folks, is 2 weeks away.
Man.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's coming up on you quick, isn't it? I got to wonder, before we left, we still had question marks around Cam Robinson, what ultimately was going to happen with the suspension and how the Jaguars were going to treat it. Is that still one of the bigger questions for you going into camp, is Cam Robinson, or no? You think that's settled in now that we know how long the suspension is?
Well, I think if you asked this question 2 months ago or whenever it first came out, we were still in a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe a mental gymnastics way of where is Walker Little going to play, right? Anton Harrison, where's he going to play? Like, what are they doing with these guys? And then what will they do? And what does this mean for Cam Robinson after the suspension and also in 2024? I think I have less of a curiosity about all that because I know they're playing Walker Little on the left side and Anton Harrison on the right side. I'm not sure we necessarily agree with it, but the bottom line is I know it. So I know their plan. And it's just quite simple. Anton Harrison is their right tackle. Walker Little is the left tackle for 4 weeks. And then Cam Robinson's coming back in. And I'm sorry, Walker Little, but you're the swing tackle again unless Anton Harrison's just playing terrible.
Yeah.
So, like, that's it. That's what it is. Like,
Do you think that
I don't think there's anything different to digest there. And now that we know that it's a 4-game suspension, which is one of the things that happened, of course, in the last couple of weeks, that's better than 6.
Much. Like, when we were talking about it before the break and it could have been 6, I was kind of in my head rolling through the scenario of, all right, what if it is 6 and he still kind of needs 2 weeks to really get the rust off after not playing for a year, essentially? And then what? Like, it's really hard to throw Walker Little to the bench if he's playing well, and then you're going to put a question mark in Cam Robinson out there. Or if Walker's playing well and Anton Harrison is playing like a rookie, not even poorly, just not up to the top of his ability at this point, still learning the playbook. Like, it's hard to tell Walker Little, go take a seat back on the bench. At 4 games, I think it's a little bit easier. Now it's just like a little blip on the radar, isn't it?
There's one other element of this, Kasey, and I know we've brought this up in the past. Walker Little easily could slide in to be that left guard. I'm not a huge fan of that stuff. I'm also a bigger fan of Ben Barch. I'm a big fan of Tyler Shatley with what he's done. But it's an option that gets Walker Little on the field. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
The guy didn't play for like 2 years, Kasey. COVID, injuries, and then he's been in Jacksonville. He's hardly played in 2 years since he got drafted number 45 overall, and now he's going to get the start for a month, and he might be on the bench again by October.
Well, he earned it, right?
Yeah, I think just coming off of last year, we're all on the same page that he deserves to play. Now, granted, there's a Cam Robinson part of it that he'll miss the 4, but I think if he plays well enough to still should be playing, then they have to find a way to play him at guard. The swing tackle part of it will always be there, even if he's playing guard. If one of your tackles gets hurt, you can still move him out and bring Barch back in or Shatley, whatever you want to do. But like he does need to play football. So I'm with you on that if it looks good enough but not good enough to leave Cam on the bench, then you have to at least consider that opportunity.
See, these are the things that I think as a coach, and if we were coaching this football team, right? If we were in a meeting room and we're a couple weeks away from camp, and you feel really good, you're like, hey, I got this guy and he can play multiple positions, and I got this guy as a backup, and we got a lot of depth, and we like our first 5 guys. No, we like our first 8 guys. We might have more depth on the offensive line than anybody in the NFL. Like, we might have a tough cut to make. Like, you can make that up and talk yourself into that. And I think a lot of that's real. What I still don't know is genuinely real. It's just because a guy can play another position, is he good enough at that position?
Yeah.
And that's where it's tricky. That's where you get guys like Devin Lloyd. Are you going to put him in the right spot? Trayvon Walker, are you going to put him in the right spot to excel? Not to take up space, not to be okay, but to be very good, or as good as they can possibly be. And what I can't come around on still yet on Walker Little is this guy's a tackle. He's a tackle by trade. He's really a left tackle by trade. Anton Harrison's a left tackle by trade, and Cam Robinson's a left tackle by trade. And while I understand they can play other positions, I have a hard time with you convincing me, not just you, but just anybody convincing me that they're going to be great at different positions that their actual trade is at.
Great is the subjective word right there, right? Like,
or very good. I'm not everybody's going to be a Hall of Famer.
But clearly you have versatility on that line. You got a guy in Walker Little that can not only play both tackle positions, but can play guard. You got a guy in Fortner even who starts at center, but played guard in college. You got Anton Harrison playing both ends of the tackle spectrum. Like, you have people who can move around that we know that Barch and Shatley both can move around a little bit. But to your point, like, will it be worth anything when you move them?
I don't know if anybody's going to be great, but you have to try. With the capital you've invested and you've got these guys, the money you've invested in Cam, it may not be unbelievably all-pro guard status, but you got to try.
Yeah, you got to get – I do believe you have to get Walker Little on the field. I think the guy – and I'm not going to say deserve because I hate the word deserve. He's earned the opportunity to be on the field.
Yes.
He earned it, by the way, by draft status alone, because that's what happens. You are an investment at number 45. So you earn it automatically with draft status, an opportunity. He never really got much of an opportunity until last year, and then he earned another one. Okay, he gets 4 more weeks to get another opportunity. But what if he does play well? He's earned the opportunity to get playing time. And if I'm like a close family member or an agent or in the camp of Walker Little, I'm like, I don't give a damn if you put me at running back or fullback. Get me on the field. Like, it's my time to be on the field, and I've earned that. So I do get that, and we'll see if he can be good at it. We'll find out. Before we take a break, I just said this, and it's kind of it reads kind of funny on Twitter, I think.
What about on Threads?
I don't know about on Threads.
Doesn't read at all.
I said, I have very few questions about the Jaguars going into camp. I feel like I know a lot. And that's not me telling you that I know more than you. I'm actually saying I feel like I know a lot about this football team. Like, everybody's going to say my question mark is how good the pass rush is going to be. Yeah. This isn't a question of how good people are going to be. I know who's going to pass rush.
Yeah, there's no position battles. You're like, I'm completely befuddled on this at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we can sit here and say, how good is Jordan Smith going to be? How good's Tank Bigsby going to be? Like, we can say that. I get that. That's in every team. We can ask that about Trevor Lawrence. How good is he going to be? How good's Calvin Ridley going to be? The bottom line is I know so much about this football team, and it's not because I cover them or go down to the stadium. You listening right now, you watching us, you know the same thing. Like, we know what this football team is.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, the last 3 years, we didn't know who the hell the kicker was.
Now we do.
You're pretty bummed out about this. I guess we can get into that during tweets.
Yeah,
we'll revisit that a little bit.
But we didn't. You know, and it's very odd to know so much about a football team. It's really odd to know so much about the Jacksonville Jaguars football team.
Well, it's been in so much upheaval over the past 2 decades plus. Just because you've never had that long streak where the team was so good that you didn't need such high turnover every couple of years.
You know, one of the big questions coming out of life, 2 big questions. Pass rush. We know what their answers are. They like their interior. They invested back in it. Roy Robertson Harris, Devon Hamilton, others. They like guys enough to not go chase free agents on the outside. The other one is the power game. Like, guess what? They addressed it in the draft. It's like I kind of know that, okay, they're going to go with some heavy sets to get 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, and Bigsby's around. They're going to use the fullback Parrish kid, and They've got Brent Strange in there now if they want 2 tight end sets. I mean, again, they have a lot of answers.
Yeah.
Now, how well do they play? That's a different category. But it's pretty fascinating to walk into a training camp 2023 for the Jacksonville Jaguars and pretty much know what you're going to see. It's kind of cool. We'll be back, Brent Friends on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
Racers and non-racers unite for a great cause. Join ESPN 690 at the 35-foot Fun Run, benefiting Ronald McDonald House Charities. It's at 121 Financial Ballpark on Sunday, July 16th before the Jumbo Shrimp Game. Visit ESPN690.com and register to race in the 35-foot Fun Run. No training required. Presented by Miracle Windows and Showers, 121 Financial Credit Union, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, and ESPN 690.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When I set out to build our firm, it was built for greatness. It was built for you. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Today, Morgan & Morgan has more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. If you or anyone in your family has been injured, call America's largest injury law firm. Call Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Right now, American Window Products is offering the newest features in window technology with Ultra Dual Low E glass and insulated vinyl frames with magnet weather stripping on windows for an airtight seal to help reduce your energy usage, all at an affordable price. This exclusive offer is for a limited time, so act now to save big with 12 months, zero interest financing. Schedule a free estimate at AmericanWindowProducts.com. American Window Products, the window professionals. Financing at time of sale for new orders only.
Yo, 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 what's up, party people? I'm Julie Foudy.
And I'm Lynn Ozawi.
We host the ESPN podcast Laughter Permitted, where we have candid chats with trailblazing women in sports and beyond.
We've talked with goats like Billie Jean King, Simone Biles, Mia Hamm, Sue Bird, Candace Parker, Michaela Schifrin, just to name a few.
So grab a donut or 500 and check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, Ally, who has supported us since day one.
It's Laughter Permitted. Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I'm looking for fuel injector cleaner.
Right now, buy a bottle of Chevron Techron Complete Fuel System Cleaner and get one free. Only at AutoZone.
Will it also help with my mileage?
Get everything you need to restore your performance in MPGs.
Get in zone.
Wait, is it good for trucks too?
Whatever vehicle you have, you can find the right products and parts at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hi, I'm Mike Lester, the founder of Talon Wealth and the host of the Guarding Your Nest Egg radio show. Like you, I love this country, and I'm very thankful for those that protect us along with our freedoms. That's why for active military and active first responders, if you decide to work with us, Talon Wealth isn't going to charge you any advisory fees. We're happy to explain all the details, but most importantly, we want to thank you for your service.
Talon Private Wealth, LLC. Investing in stock markets involves the risk of loss, and there is no guarantee that all or any capital invested will be repaid. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Florida license D056341. California license 0N00828.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it!
But the chances of actually hitting it
Over there!
are statistically
It's still alive.
unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants, like lemongrass and geraniol, and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. Man, we got a new sound, new look. It's a refresher.
You feeling it?
By the way, happy anniversary to you. Maybe. I have no idea what day you started, but it's got to be right about now.
It was late June, and then I stopped to go on a Disney cruise last year.
Yeah, that didn't count then. That was just like a probationary period.
Let's just call it this.
Almost called it prohibition, but
it could be. This is it. This is my anniversary, guys. Happy anniversary to you.
And to you.
You've been blessed with me for a whole year.
You know what's crazy is
that I'm still here?
Well, a little bit.
That Kasey's still here.
That's even more
That's pretty crazy.
But it's really wild that it seems like, and this is going to sound negative, but I don't mean it to be.
I know what you're going to say already.
Kasey, doesn't it seem like he's been here for like 5 years?
Forever, dog.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Like that seems way longer than a year. Was that year that long?
The longest.
They played
but
a lot of
it's been
football.
fun. Like we kind of like each other.
They started football early. They ended it late. Like there was a lot last year.
Man.
Have you ever worked with anybody this long where they actually still like you after a year?
No, not even close. No. You know what's funny about radio too is that you
don't worry, I haven't either.
You end up on little teams, right? You're almost never on a team of 30.
Yeah, good point.
It's always a team of like 5 or less. And out of all the teams I've been on.
Oh, here we go.
No. This isn't a compliment or anything. I'm just saying factually, like we probably communicate with each other the least. Outside of this room.
Yeah.
Out of all the professional relationships I've had, like other shows I've been on or worked with, it's constant communication. Us, it's like, I don't know. I think we both take Kasey's cue. It's like Kasey wants nothing to do with us until he steps back in this room.
True.
And probably still doesn't, but has to.
Yeah, well, I guilted him into like returning texts at some point. But like, I enjoy you, Brent. You're a nice guy. You're a very thoughtful guy. I like working with you, man.
Oh, appreciate that. And likewise, it's fun. All right, what did you do for the last 2 weeks? I know you did some new open work. If you follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you can see some new video.
Doing a little work.
By the way, Aaron's done a great job with our video feeds ever since he got here, but he refreshed it over the last couple of weeks. So you've actually been working on the show.
I've been trying to spice it up a little bit. A little spicy.
Anything else? What did you do for the
fourth?
Yeah. Catch us up.
So I was just actually telling Kasey this story. So here's a weird thing about me, Brent. Like I can get on stage in front of 10,000 people, no sweat, talk, do what I need to do. I won't even be nervous. But you invite me to a house party with people I don't know, and I'm going to start like flop sweating.
Really? Uncomfortable.
Yeah. So something I do when I go to a party like this, especially as an adult, whether it's a wedding or a house party or something, I head straight for the bar. I grab a drink or two and I shed all that anxiety a little bit, get a little social lubrication going. So I had this July 4th party on my block, a couple of neighbors down the street that me and my wife actually happen to enjoy, and we like their kids like our kids. It's great. But it's supposed to be a party for July 4th. Last time I went over their house for a party, there were a lot of people there. So I was like, oh, man, I'm freaking out a little bit. We get there, right? And when we get there, it's like the host, their family, the host's sister, and the host's mom. And like me and my wife and our kids are the first one there. And that is par for the course for my wife. If the invite says the party starts at 7, my wife is outside their house at 5:30 looking to like, who else is here with me?
Come on, Britt. That's too early. Don't be the first
ridiculous.
Arrival.
Always the first, every time. I'm like, can't we just wait until 5 minutes after we're supposed to be there? I want 30 to an hour.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm missing the point. The point is I get there, I start throwing down drinks. I'm 3 drinks in, like 20 minutes into this party.
Oh, atta baby.
And I'm a little bit woozy. I even told the host, I was like, just so you know, I'm a little bit drunk right now. And they're like, it's still 4:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, don't worry about it. Turns out it wasn't even really a party. It was like the host and their family and us. So now I'm just walking around drunk, talking to the host's mom and my kids. Trying to keep it together, not fall into the pool by accident. Trip over a dog. I must look like the biggest alcoholic in the world.
No doubt.
Just running over to their house at 4 o'clock, throwing down vodka and energy drinks. They're like, what is wrong with Aaron?
No anxiety needed.
What is wrong with this guy? But it was a fun night.
By the way, I think everybody should start inviting Aaron everywhere now.
Just sloshed. You should see me at company, open bar, company events. Oh, my God. Drunk by 5:30, in bed for the night by 7. Let's go. Let's go.
At least you can get him out of there.
No wonder why you survived here at CMG. You don't have to keep the bar open very long, apparently.
No stories about me. I'm sleeping through all of them.
4 o'clock hour coming up. You know, there's been a lot happening in the sports world, but been some things, including
some stuff.
Right now, Major League Baseball draft, and we've got our eye on some local kids' products. One already was drafted late last night, so a lot of fun stuff happening here in the Jacksonville area. We'll get to it when we come back on ESPN 690. We're in the middle of summer. Be ready for anything, on the road or off the road, at Nimnicht Buick GMC. No one will ever pay over MSRP at Nimnicht Buick GMC, the place where my family has purchased 6 vehicles since we've been in Jacksonville. Go to Phillips Highway or NimnichtBuickGMC.com. Are you looking for a used car under $18,000, maybe one for the kids? Nimnicht has a great selection, over 300 used cars, trucks, and SUVs to choose from. The #1 Buick GMC. We are professional grade.
Owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
This message is brought to you by True Coverage.
I really needed health insurance for me and my son, but didn't think I could afford anything. So I called. They looked up my zip code, and based on my income and where I live, they found out I qualify for no-cost health insurance. It took just minutes. They even found me a dental plan.
If you don't have health insurance or your health insurance cost is too high, listen to this because you may be eligible for no-cost health insurance. That's right. You could qualify for zero-cost health insurance for you and your family that covers all costs for things like doctor's visits and prescription medications. Call now for free to see if your income level and zip code qualifies you for zero-cost health insurance. Plus, see if you qualify for a cash card where you could earn cash of up to $500 to use for groceries, utilities, and more. Don't wait. Call 800-591-7204 right now to see if you and your family qualify for no-cost health insurance. The call is free, and it takes just minutes to see if you instantly qualify. Call 800-591-7204. That's 800-591-7204. 800-591-7204.
The Dell Technologies Black Friday and July event starts now with limited quantity deals on top business PCs with Windows 11 Pro. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Plus, get special financing with Dell Business Credit. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. Offered to business customers by WebBank, who determines qualifications for and terms of credit.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my gramps used to call resolutitude. Not a real word, but let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring because of its irresistible scent and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring at Walmart today.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, ESPN's Tim Bontemps is reporting Victor Wembanyama's summer league has come to an end. The Spurs decided to shut down the top overall pick in the NBA draft following a stellar second game in Vegas. A former Northwestern football player who came forward with allegations of widespread hazing within the program spoke with University President Michael Schill yesterday about the hazing he witnessed and experienced. Told ESPN's Adam Rittenberg Coach Pat Fitzgerald absolutely knew about the hazing. Fitzgerald, suspended on Friday for 2 weeks, has said he had no knowledge of it. ESPN radio host Harry Douglas.
There's nothing cool about it to me. Do not put your hands on me against my will. That's where the problem comes. And I just think we're in a situation now, whether it's college football, high school football, any level of sports period, I think the hazing just needs to stop.
Harry Douglas on ESPN Radio Afternoons. Schill is considering harsher punishment for Fitzgerald. The Yankees' new hitting coach is MLB Network analyst Sean Kasey. Takes over for the fired Dylan Lawson. Yankees' .231 batting average, 28th in the majors, ahead of only Detroit and Oakland.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me. Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kurtz. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
4 o'clock hour as we are back on a Monday. July 10th is 2 weeks away now from Training Camp 2023 and football season fired up. Hope you had a good couple weeks. Good 4th of July. Brent Martin, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz. A little refreshed. New look, new music.
Is it easy for you to come back after taking some time off?
Yeah. No problem. No problem.
You're just built different, I think.
Yeah, I showed somebody this recently. I think it's just as soon as Friday. Like, I used to really not like taking time off. I didn't. I felt like. I
used to feel like it was.
I liked my family. It's just that I just didn't like missing work.
Yeah, I used to feel like it was a knock on my character.
Yeah, kind of. I think there's something there. Like, I don't know if I ever thought about it like to that extent. Just subconsciously, I just didn't like it.
I definitely. I don't like people seeing me not at work. I don't like people seeing me just sitting around.
In the last couple of years, though, I would say, like, I still love work. Like, I love working. And I do a lot of work over the last couple of weeks. And I think that's why I like taking the time, because I can do things that I feel like I'm still getting stuff done and catch up on.
Yeah.
And feel prepared going into the fall, which is going to be so busy, you know? But I also now, like, enjoy the time off. Like, I know that sounds like foreign to people, but like, that's just a recent thing for me where I like enjoy it. I think a lot of it's we're at the ball field around the kids. The kids are older, you know, so there's all this stuff. There's all these emotions running around. Like, it's like this. This is what I said to my buddy. I said, it's like the evolution of parenting is wild to me. And some of it's like really right in front of you right now.
Yeah.
Like looking for colleges or whatever it else. Just all of it.
Well, it just seems like when they're really young, you're like, can we speed this up a little bit with the not sleeping and the crying all the time and the fighting and the tantrums? And then they get older and you're like, can we slow this down a little bit with the going away to school and growing up and driving and leaving the house and stuff?
Yeah. So there's a lot of that. Like, I think you could do a whole, I'm sure there are podcasts or other things. I thought about it. I mean, we drive a lot this time of year from Hoover, Alabama to wherever. Got back at like 4 a.m. But so you're thinking about all this stuff. So like, I think there's like a podcast or something of, like I just said, the evolution of parenting would be kind of fun. Like, I don't know. I don't want to do it, but like somebody else
just want to listen to it.
It'd be kind of fun to listen to the different stages because everybody's different, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, our world that we live in, people think we're insane sometimes compared to another world that I think you're living in that I think is insane.
You mean with all the travel?
Boring. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Like, I mean, we all have different paths, right? But so start it up. There you go. Evolution of parenting. I think would be a pretty good one.
In between the morning show and the afternoon show.
It's probably best if a mom did it. I'm not sure.
Why?
I don't know. Like, you didn't think of
Look
dad.
at you, Miss Sandrick over here with your anti-male
agenda. Maybe the dad thing would be good. Maybe it should be like an all dad thing.
Yeah.
Maybe there's too many all mom
Yeah,
things.
too many moms.
Dad gets the bad rap. But dads get emotional too.
Sometimes.
I guess.
I get loud when I get emotional.
What did we miss the last couple of weeks?
I'll tell you a big story we didn't get to talk about over text that we missed. Britney Spears versus Victor Wembanyama.
That is wild. Sorry.
That was a big story.
That was a big story.
Especially because this poor 19-year-old kid, this 7'5" basketball monster, opens up his career in the summer league with a real disappointing start. On top of all of this, hey, Britney Spears grabbed me and my security guard gave her the old whoop-de-doo.
You know what's wild about that is Wembanyama, I almost feel like if you go back 10 years ago and he's getting drafted, or maybe it's 15 years ago and be like, whoa, Britney Spears. And now he's like, who cares about Britney Spears?
He didn't even know her.
He probably didn't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's just a wild, that hit me when I saw that story. It's like a lot of people will be like, oh, that's kind of cool, or sorry this happened, or whatever, or, it might even start like a long, not like relationship, but like a friendship or
sure.
or whatever. That
like a chance
now
meeting.
She's going to courtside games, right? And they have this just cool, friendly star relationship.
Yeah.
And
not the
instead
thing.
It's like, yeah, I don't give a damn about Britney Spears. This guy's probably right. Now, if it was Taylor Swift, they probably would,
oh, yeah,
mend the fence and everything's good.
Mend the fence.
First
Forget
off,
it.
Taylor Swift and Victor Wembanyama will not be in the same area ever in the history of life, because Victor Wembanyama is nowhere near that level. But what I took most from that story is how ironic it was.
What was the irony there?
Do you know Britney's #1 song of all time?
Oops, I Did It Again.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
Hit me, baby, one more time. Turns out Wembanyama security wasn't doing the hitting. She hit herself by accident.
Oh, is that what happened?
That's what happened.
Is that real?
That's real. So he claimed someone grabbed him and that his security handled it. She claims she tapped him and then she got smacked in the face. But if you watch the video from a fan, you see she didn't grab him. She tapped him. But also someone was kind of holding onto her hand. She ended up hitting herself in the face. Number one, if you're Britney Spears, how do you not know that? How do you go to the press with this story and not realize you're going to end up being the punchline? But then again, it's Britney Spears. This is someone who was in a conservatorship for like over a decade. Maybe she's not having all the thoughts at the time where you're supposed to have all the thoughts.
That's fair. Also, did you guys see Wemby just got shut down for the rest of Summer League?
Did he, after 27 points and 12 boards?
Monster game the other night, yeah.
You will not see him again.
And that's it. Okay, we know you can
They
play.
just wanted to make sure the wheels worked. All right.
I will tell you this, seeing a guy that's 7'4" score 27 points is like, wow. I mean, when we think 7'4", the bottom line is it's been mostly guys that can't walk and chew gum.
Yeah.
This guy going to put up 27, even in the summer league. I was like, wow, that's pretty good. Like I would do the same thing if I were the Spurs.
He's an impressive prospect.
So, yeah, I mean, the Britney Spears thing, I saw it. I didn't really dive into it as deep as you did. You obviously analyzed the tape.
Very important. Very important. If we were on, I would have brought that tape to the table.
But Wembanyama got drafted. He played not so great game, got into it with Britney Spears, and then had 27 and 12 and got shut down. I mean, that's a wild 2 weeks while we were gone for Wemby.
Totally.
Yep.
And you think he's the real deal?
I do, yeah.
I think he's can't miss, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I still have this problem with 7'4".
And you should.
I know it's a good thing, but it just feels weird to me.
No, you should, because none of those guys ever stay healthy. You've never met an 80-year-old guy that was 7'4". Like, their playing careers are always limited with knee issues or back issues or even neck issues.
Speaking of 80-year-old guys in San Antonio, and he's not this old, but
is it Pop?
Why is Popovich still doing this? He doesn't look
He's
like
close
he
to that
enjoys
old.
any of it.
Because he's the best of all time.
He's at 5 years, $80 million. Like, these guys can't just go away. I have this theme every 2 weeks on this show. It's like, why can't you just go away?
74, by the way.
And retire?
Why would he retire? Why would he retire?
Is he married?
Gotta be.
Like, he owes it to his wife. Like, just go do whatever your wife wants to do.
Maybe this is why. He was
Maybe
married.
she wants him to.
Well, he was married to Erin Popovich until she died in April of 2018.
Oh, jeez.
He's got 2 kids, but he hasn't remarried since then.
Okay, he hasn't married.
So maybe this is like keeping him busy.
I did not realize she had passed. So
He's also like a big social justice guy. And
he is. He's got a great platform for that.
I think he's really driven by developing young men into grown men.
Yes.
And I think he gets to do that on the Spurs. And I think guys who come to play for him know
he's
that.
a great coach, and he's a great platform guy, and he does seem to want to accomplish more than just coaching.
Yeah.
So this gives him that platform, and I did not realize about that personal note, too. So that makes more sense to me.
5 years seems like a lot, though. If he plays out that contract as the coach, he's going to be 79.
What else did we miss? Speaking of jobs or not jobs, how about the flush at ESPN?
Oh, man. That was a big one that affected us here. We lost the morning show, KJM. We lost our guy, Jason Fitz.
Love Fitzy, man.
Yeah.
He had a great Twitter video, by the way, put out there
Real
with
classy.
all the gratitude. Yeah, he's
Real
classy.
classy.
Great guy.
I was talking to Kasey about this, too. It was a real classy move by him. He very could have easily just put out a statement or said, I'm no longer with them, or not said anything. Allow the media to do the coverage. It's not like he's a nobody, but a real classy move there.
Yeah, it's and today, guys, New York Times shutting down their sports department, and I think LA Times, if I saw that right. My guess is they're
same company.
They're same company, and they're using the Athletic. They bought the Athletic,
Correct.
Right?
It's a New York Times property.
And so, I mean, in a lot of ways, I guess that kind of makes business sense, but it's also like, whoa.
Is it a big woe to you?
Well, not to me, because I don't read the New York Times and LA Times, but I get like why that would be. If you said it to about the Boston Globe or something like that, it would be kind of like, wow, it's just we know it's changing, right? We know the world has changed. We know the business has changed. We know all that. I think people understand that. But when you see it in that scope and some of these historic, traditional places, it just hits you a little bit different. Like it really does.
It means something in that sense, I guess. I think New York Times and LA Times and the sports department, and I go, yeah, who's like, they have giant newsrooms and news departments. Like the investigative journalism that comes out of those properties is unreal.
Yes.
Unparalleled. So to throw all that money at the newsroom and then go, oh, yeah, we also have to pay for sports coverage that no one engages with, to the business point, doesn't make much sense to me, especially when you own The Athletic. You talk about a wordy publication, by the way. You ever try to read an article from The Athletic, you get it in the first 2 paragraphs, and then there are 15 more paragraphs to give you some context. It's like, all right, maybe we could spend less time writing the book and just give me the info I need. That being said, you kind of see why they would shut down the sports. It's kind of redundant at that point.
Yeah, I kind of, I mean, in a weird way, again, from the outside, way outside looking in, I kind of get it. But
I will say, when they did it down the hall on our news talk station, and this was over a decade ago, where they took sports basically out of the news wheel, it was shocking. And it just goes to show you it's more of like a go hunt and find the information than maybe it used to be.
What did anything else surprise? I mean, the whole ESPN shakeup. Like, I'm not surprised by these things anymore.
Well, especially not with Disney going through the amount of money shedding that they're needing to do right now.
Well, okay, so is it more the Disney thing? Is it more? I mean, you are paying guys like Stephen A. Smith and McAfee, and you know, listen, a guy like Scott Van Pelt gets paid a lot. Like, they have guys that can make a lot of money. Like, they get paid a lot of money.
Oh, you can't talk for Van Pelt, but you know that Stephen A. and McAfee bring audience with them.
They do.
So there's value there.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they don't. They probably return it in spades, is my guess.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
but you can't keep paying guys. You know, you have so many $10 million guys on the roster. I mean, we see that in the NFL and the NBA and Major League Baseball. I mean, it works the same way.
Sure.
Go ahead, Kasey.
No, I would like we talk about this, but like, do we even know what's on ESPN anymore? Like, there are some staples that you know where they are. You know Van Pelt's on at night, and if you're interested in that content, you're finding it. You know when Stephen A's on. You know when McAfee's about to be on. Like, if you're moving all these guys around, you don't really know what your parts are. Like, yeah, they might be talented, but you know what you want to find and where it is, and that's what ESPN is banked off of.
I actually think it's part of a bigger thing that's going on right now, and I think the pandemic actually brought this on, starting with streamers. You had all these companies pop up with these streaming networks. They're essentially TV networks, right? If you're a big fan of the content on Paramount or that Paramount makes, you're getting Paramount Plus. But then as people exited the pandemic frame of mind, they went back to work, they left the house, they stopped watching as much TV as they were watching. You saw a lot of these things consolidate, right? So you get a company like Disney, who owns ESPN already, who buys 21st Century Fox or does a deal so Disney now then gets Hulu and Disney Plus and ESPN. Well, now you have a little bit of crossover there where maybe you can do some stuff similar to what we're talking about with The Athletic and the New York Times and the LA Times. I just think the ESPN thing has been a years-long example of what happens when you start to shut down a behemoth of a publication or a network and fold it into what the modern network looks like today.
Well, and the other thing is this. Anybody who works in sales or whatever else or whatever industry, really, even when you make a lot of money or do really well, the goals change, right? You go sell $1 gazillion, well, they want you the next year to sell it $2 gazillion, right? That's the way the world works. Well, ESPN, they had such a good subscription model that once you start losing some of that because of cord cutting and other things, like, you have to find new ways. Like, it's just, I still think our industry, our world, our media world is still trying to figure so much of it out.
Yeah, definitely.
I really think we're all trying to still figure out like where it's going to be. And there's going to be now Web 3. Kasey, we're at the Super Bowl. We saw Burns and those guys doing stuff on Web 3.
Was that the first time you heard about Web 3?
Yes.
No, it's not the first time because I pay attention to like crypto stuff. So, so I've been at least in tune with it, and it's kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
Like the ideas of it and the concept of it. But Burns I don't even know if they're doing well. Like I have no idea. I never clicked on it. So that might tell you something.
All you need to know.
But it might just be way early. Like it might be 5-10 years down the road.
Yeah.
And even if we look at even the newspaper, which has been the most glaring one of all, right? The newspaper has been dying, they say, for 20 years, 25 years, but it's still really not totally dead. Or it took 20, 25 years. Like someday they'll say TV's dying. Or maybe they're already saying TV's dying. But it might take another 25, 30 years for it to happen.
I guess dead is another one of those subjective words. Like, what does that really mean to somebody?
Dead to you and me or dead to the guys that were making $1 billion at it are two different things.
Yeah,
right?
Those guys probably think it's already dead, where me and you are like, all right, when they just shut the TV station off.
This is what I always say about like a sport like NASCAR, right? NASCAR had its heyday in the early 2000s, and they were killing it, right? I mean, it's like, whoa, this boon for NASCAR. And now everybody else is like, well, look at the ratings decline. The ratings decline. The ratings versus this. They just spent $50 million in Chicago to put on a race.
Yeah,
like,
not
they're
doing too bad.
fine.
They're doing fine.
Right? Like, they spent $50 million to put on a race.
Pretty dope, too.
Like, that's what's interesting about when we talk about
little
these things
perspective
in
counts.
such like black and white terms. It's not always the case. It's maybe where it used to be. There's historical perspective.
But it's not just video. It's happening in audio too, where all these advertisers and companies really shifted to paying big dollars for podcasts and podcast hosts. So a guy like Joe Rogan take $100 million off of Spotify. Caller Daddy, I think, took a $60 million contract for their podcast. There are lots of these giant podcasts that took all this money. And what advertisers are finding is they're not really seeing the return. And so the advertising dollars are leaving that space very quickly. And so you have companies like Spotify, they just cut their podcast department by 20 or 30%.
Wow.
That's a big number.
That's a big number.
Big number.
And they thought it was the investment of the future.
They spent like $250 million in the last 4 years on it.
Podcasts is really interesting too, because podcasts were like, it's been like a dozen years at least.
It's been a long time.
Right? And it was
like even before it was marketed as a thing.
It was like cool, and then it was like it hit the brakes for years. And I think almost like the pandemic helped bring it back to life, right? Yeah. And now it hit a new level, but maybe too high of a level, to your point. People get greedy.
Well, I think they have the audience. It's just we know from doing radio that sometimes you need to repeat a message a few times for the entire audience to get it or hear it. But in podcasting, you're doing like 1 hour once a week. You don't have a lot of saturation in your message there. You need more on top of the podcast. So now creators, these people who are hosting these podcasts, are also having to be social media stars and like video stars on their social media channels or YouTube, or we're a radio show who's video streaming. And suddenly it's not just podcasting anymore. Now you're doing it all like you were doing when the company was paying you to do it all.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. The ESPN stuff was, again, eye-popping. Some of you can debate who went, who didn't go, like all that stuff. But
did you have a shock in there that you saw get let go?
I didn't really. Like, I guess the one I tweeted about outside of that, obviously I felt for Jason Fitz, because I think he's really good and has a lot of versatility. So I'm surprised they wouldn't use him, and I can't imagine he's making like crazy money for him. It was surprising to see Susie Kolber.
Yeah, big name for a long time.
She's older, but it just was surprising to see Susie Kolber, I guess. Like, I didn't see that one coming.
To me, that felt like a early retirement push.
Probably. And again, she's to that point where she's been, I think she said she's been there for like 27 years. So, I mean, that's a pretty good run, and maybe closer to what you're saying. She doesn't feel old to me. She still feels relevant when I watch her.
But also I look at Susie Kolber and I go, that's a person who maybe is making their own tweets if they're on Twitter, but she's not making her own videos. She doesn't understand those platforms. Like, that's who you really need to employ at media companies at this point. You can't have a department for social and a department for video and a department for audio, at least not in the medium to smaller companies. And it seems like what ESPN is moving towards. You need MMJs all over the organization. You need multimedia people who understand how to go between platforms.
The one thing I will say about was wild about ESPN. A lot of people hammer ESPN for years and years now. For it's changed. It's not your daddy's ESPN. It's whatever. It's like everything changes. Sure. Everything's a little bit different. I still think through it all, who's come to get ESPN? And again, I'm saying this not like we are not tied. Like we're affiliated with ESPN, but I'm not. This is not like a defense of ESPN or anything else.
What's your question mean? Who's coming to get them?
Like Fox
who's overtaking?
Fox has tried to come get them.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And they can't. They can't. Like
who's the
haven't.
big sports entity?
Isn't it a little surprising that you see like ESPN still gets, I think, a lot of heat on a lot of the stuff they do because they're still
they're the leader.
They're the leader by far
in coverage and in size. But if you're talking audience footprint outside of their network dealings, if you're just talking their originated content. Barstool overtook them years ago.
Okay, but Barstool isn't even remotely, and there's still babies in this part of it, so I'll give them credit. They're not even in the stratosphere of in your psyche the way ESPN.
Well, because it's not about sports coverage for Barstool. It's about content creation.
Yes, and it's about clicks and everything else.
But if we're talking sports and audience, that's where I'm looking.
But you still think sports, you think ESPN is my point.
Easily,
You don't think Fox has put a lot of money into a bunch of different things.
I think Barstool before I think Fox.
And that's what I'm saying. You don't think it. Like they've tried. I mean, they tried. Heck, didn't they shut down they shut down for like 2 months, right? Because they can't find a replacement?
Yeah, right now it's just skip and skip.
Skip and skip.
And they're skipping it.
They're skipping it. A lot of skipping going on.
Listen, Fox has tried. Fox has tried to be like, hey, we're going to rival this. We're going to do this. They even do it with their college football day.
They poached ESPN names. Yeah.
But I think to answer your question, who's coming for ESPN, I don't think the answer is anybody because I think Barstool's obviously its own thing and those kind of platforms are their own thing. But when you're talking about like actual breaking down coverage of like former players or what have you, like I think everybody goes somewhere for different stuff. Like ESPN does it all. They may not do it all well. But like Fox, for example, right now is at the MLB All-Star Game, and they've got a panel with A-Rod, Ortiz, and Jeter. Nobody's beating that right now. ESPN's not rolling out and beating that for like what they know versus what anybody who didn't play can give you. Same thing with basketball, right? If I'm looking for basketball that is somewhat entertaining, but also the hard-hitting coverage, I'm going to TNT because I want to see Chuck and Shaq and Kenny. So I think it's so hard to do everything well and entertaining right now that I don't think anybody can take ESPN because ESPN's there, they're in the space, but doing all of it at a high level is just so difficult.
You've also got a situation in media today, if I could just get on the soapbox for a little more.
Sure.
Where there is no exclusivity in reporting. Most of it is syndicated reporting anyway. Like a lot of it you'll see reported from a large national entity and it's been bought by some of these other entities to use in their feeds. For instance, we work for a large media company in Cox Media Group, but we don't originate all of the content on our websites.
No.
We buy that content from AP and from Reuters and from ABC and whoever else is selling content.
Yeah.
And so when it's not exclusive anymore, you don't need to go to ESPN to get the ESPN content.
Yeah, that's true. And everything, I mean, accountability's gone in a lot of those areas too. So now it just seems like everything's coming from one place. It's just stolen.
Yeah. No, it's what it feels like. Yeah. There's actually, speaking of stolen, there's an interesting lawsuit. Not that this has anything to do with what we're talking about, except for that last piece. But I thought it was interesting. We talk about AI a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies, including this one now, have a policy where they don't want you to use AI for business dealings because it basically goes to the internet ether and anyone can access the information. Sarah Silverman, who's a comedian and an author, and two other people are suing the makers of a few different AI models, including Facebook's and ChatGPT, for using their works, their copyrighted works, when training those models. And if those lawsuits actually work out for the authors, you're going to see a whole weird legal snafu here with AI where they're going to have to shut it down for a bit till they figure that out.
I don't know if they'll win it. I can see where they're coming from, though.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know enough details to know if they'll win it.
Neither do I.
Long story short on the ESPN stuff, and I don't know how we got all the way here. I just think it is pretty wild that, I don't think anybody's going to take their place.
Do they need to?
I don't know if they need to. I don't. It might become obsolete, to your point, before anybody else does it.
If you ask Kasey, the last 5 pieces of sports content you remember enjoying, were any of them just some dude on Instagram or TikTok talking about sports that happened and not some expert on a network?
Yeah.
That's it. It's over. Because that's the generation who doesn't watch network television. But like they can watch Charles from Iowa talk about his top 5 favorite basketball players, and that's enough sports content in that moment when you don't need a sports score. You don't need to watch Stephen A. Smith debate J.J. Redick. You can watch this kid do a funny TikTok.
Yeah, I get that. And that's a hard place for me to get.
I understand.
Because
it hurts your feelings.
Not only hurts my feelings, but I'd rather watch J.J. Redick and Stephen A. than some kid on TikTok.
Especially J.J. Redick.
You know, but
talk to Kasey. He's the one doing it.
I know.
Depends on the situation. Like right now, this is interesting to me. But to your point, Aaron, like literally today, I was watching a soccer thing on TikTok because United States played last night, and this dude, I like his content. So I was watching it, and he's just like, you know, a person that goes to work.
See, I think
he does it at his work, actually. It's pretty legendary.
I think the bigger thing, though, because this is what I think of ESPN as, is you're going to find out the soccer stuff from ESPN. And I understand that might be on Fox, but my point is anything that is on TV, anything that is on anywhere, it's not even TV, right? If I want to go find a college baseball game or a college softball game or a college football, whatever, I'm thinking ESPN. ESPN.com, let's see if they've got it. Wembanyama, what did he score last night? I'm going to ESPN. Like, that is still, you might go get analysis somewhere else, but you're going to ESPN. It feels like you're starting there. They're like your starting point. They're your compass.
I would say they used to be. Now I'm going to Google.
Really?
I'm going.
See, I don't. I don't go to Google first. I go to ESPN.com.
Like, first of all, I'm looking through my Google News feed, and if something piques my interest, I'm then doing a Google search instead of just going directly to a sports site. So on my news feed the other day, I saw Wembanyama put up 27 and 12. I was like, oh, I'm curious how he actually did with the rest of his stats. Dude, he had 5 blocks the other night in 12 minutes. So I just Googled Wembanyama box score. And then whatever they were going to give me, which is Google's own proprietary box score.
Yeah.
I do that a lot as well.
Then that's what I was getting.
That's interesting. See, I do not do it that way.
Because also there are some platforms where, and I know the box score is the same thing, but I think we're also in a situation where the box score is not enough at times. Like I know ESPN, what they're going to give me before I have to click on a second tab.
That's true. You
where
already know
so
it.
if I go to Sports Reference or Google or whatever, if I want the WAR, it's there. If I want some other stat, it's there. ESPN, I know I have to go here, but then I have to go here and then somewhere else. I do it a lot with like strikeouts per 9 when I'm betting on stuff. Like it just ESPN isn't giving it to me right away, but I know there are other places that will.
But to the point, ESPN has to be everything to everybody. And some of these other places get to be these niche little targeted
and
things.
That's what Kasey said, and that's a good point. You can't be everything to everybody. But they were for a long time.
Yeah, and still trying to be.
Because everything is just so much bigger.
But audiences are so fragmented.
Yeah.
They're all over the place and loyal in very small numbers. Not in the numbers that they used to be loyal.
Pretty wild. Hey, other things that we might have missed, we did bring that Chicago race up, which was kind of cool. They got it in the rain. Your guy Ohtani continues to be unbelievable.
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm keeping tabs on this like All-Star Game Media Day, and the amount of people who have just walked up to it, like Acuna did it, I saw Soto do it, and just take a picture with them.
I think
it's wild.
You know, Casey's been all over like the Ohtani over Babe Ruth stuff. Yeah. Right?
Which is still true.
But
it hasn't changed yet.
Come on.
Babe hasn't worked his way back up there. No.
You still can't body you in basketball.
You came around on Babe.
I did.
Right? Before we
wrong.
took a break. What's interesting here is I don't know why it took this long, but it feels like this summer, Ohtani's legend has grown exponentially.
Yeah.
Like exponentially. He did it for the last couple years. But this summer feels like what you just said happened. Maybe it was the World Baseball Classic, too. A little bit of that.
A little bit
Plus,
of that.
it's the 500-foot homers, the 10-plus strikeouts.
Conspiracy
he's
action.
leading the league in home runs right now.
Was it 31?
I think, or he was when I last checked.
Just ridiculous. A little conspiracy, though. What if it's his PR folks knowing his contract's up at the end of the year?
I think there is I don't know if it's his PR folks, but there's a huge part of that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's smart.
A bunch of these markets are getting real excited for
But
him.
without the PR folks, it is also, a big contract is coming.
Yeah.
So it makes you watch it a little bit more. But again, this guy has been forgotten by a lot of the sports population. I say a lot. That's a lot of people know him and love him and follow him. But there's also a good segment because he plays for the Angels that just hasn't seen the greatness. It feels like everybody's seeing it right now.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Ohtani is playing baseball better than Jordan played basketball, but no one is talking about him at that frequency.
Yeah. But it feels like that's starting to happen.
A little bit more, yeah.
Again, he is getting almost Babe Ruth legendary status now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even in what I just said there, like, Acuna is having an unbelievable – he's going to be the NL MVP. It's not close.
Legendary season for
Acuna. He is not just as good, but he's having an unbelievable season. And, like, they showed him. He walked on the field. He walked right up to Ohtani while they were doing AL pictures and was, like, trying to hand his phone to somebody to take it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's where we are.
Just stand behind Ohtani with his face over his shoulder like, hey, guys.
If that guy, who is maybe the second best player in the sport, is that in awe of the first best player of the sport, that should tell everybody what you need to know.
Yeah. And meanwhile, if Trout was there, he'd be sitting at the end of the dugout and nobody would be going up to him.
True.
That also tells you something, which is nuts. All right, one thing has not changed, even though we come back after a couple weeks. We're late to break. We'll be back. Brent Friends on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
More rain on this Monday with scattered off and on showers and storms through the day. High temperatures will barely manage the low 90s and upper 80s, and there will be a few showers lingering tonight. Under a cloudy and humid night, lows down in the mid-70s. And then we'll have scattered showers and storms off and on yet again on Tuesday. Keep that umbrella close by. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Save up to 40% now during the Christmas and July sale at Beard's Diamonds.
Smoothie King is a family thing for my family. I love the Lean One vanilla and strawberry. My wife Steph gets the Lean One chocolate. My daughter Kaylee, the Caribbean way. And Ty goes all out for the Hulk. You have choices at Smoothie King. Smoothies for everyone, and now smoothie bowls too. And this summer, plunge into extreme watermelon smoothies, now available at Smoothie King for a limited time. Enjoy extreme watermelon, or for something more tart, dive into the new extreme watermelon lemonade. Extreme watermelon smoothies, back for a limited time, only at Smoothie King. Rule the day at a Smoothie King in Jacksonville.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Here's your quote for a new AC system. And if you sign this 10-page contract in the next 3 seconds, we can install it day after tomorrow.
Wait a second, something's strange. You're my third quote, and it's exactly the same system and terms as the first two. How can that be?
Well, corporate doesn't want me to tell you this, but we're all owned by the same corporation. Less profit when you earn trust over time. Better to buy established AC companies. That way the customers have no other options. Corporate says benefits. Yeah, that's it.
I have another option. I'm calling Hammond.
For generations, Hammond continues to be the most recommended AC company by your neighbors. Make the switch to Hammond Air Conditioning instead of an out-of-town corporate AC company, so you aren't forced into higher prices, fewer options, and worse service. Summer's a perfect time to call Hammond. They are experts on how an AC system can lower your electric bills and get you great rebates at the same time. Go to HammondAir.com.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjax.com.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You can help families struggling with hunger and double your impact. If you donate to the LJD Jewish Family and Community Services Max Block Food Pantry this month, your donation will be matched. Please give at jfcsjacks.org.
Tonight, I've got a bonfire at the lake with friends. First, I need a spritz of my Off Clean Feel. My summer style is all about fun and not about... I don't need Mosquito Bite Red clashing with this crochet top. It's purple, it's bright. I could definitely pair it with my amethyst eyeshadow palette. The best part is, ugly mosquitoes won't be messing with my fiery vibes. With Off Clean Feel, I've got 8 hours of not sticky, fragrance-free protection. Get your pre-party protection on with Off Clean Feel. SC Johnson, a family company.
The Dell Technologies Black Friday and July event starts now with limited quantity deals on top business PCs with Windows 11 Pro. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Plus, get special financing with Dell Business Credit. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. Offered to business customers by WebBank, who determines qualifications for and terms of credit.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Welcome back, Brent Martin, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz, Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Hope you're having a fantastic summer. Kind of a rainy day, wet one out there, stormy day in Jacksonville. Turn the sprinklers off if you've got them. You're going to have to mow the lawn a couple of times.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Week. Grass is green.
Oh, my gosh. And tall.
At
my house.
I'll tell you a little something later on. I say this every year when I come back from Hoover, Alabama. I think Alabama's the most underrated state there is.
Just
that
for
I've been
beauty. I went there 2 years ago to Birmingham, Beham, as the locals
That's where
like
we
to
were.
call
I mean,
it. Yeah.
Birmingham, Hoover.
We're not doing this because
what's the problem with Beham?
Nothing's wrong with it. I don't know for sure, but Amanda's birthday is coming up, and she's like, "We're gonna go on a trip." I'm like, "Cool, all good. Like, I'll pay for it. It's no big deal."
I'll pay for it or I'll plan it because there's a difference, Case.
No, pay. I'll pay. She'll plan, and she's like,
"That's not a present. You're giving her work."
Shut up. So she's like, "How do you feel about Auburn, Alabama?" I'm like, "How do I feel about going on vacation to Alabama? I feel awful.
It's gorgeous.
About going to Alabama."
Look, if anyone was going to come in here with besmirchment on Alabama, it would be me, born and raised in the Northeast. But Birmingham was gorgeous. It was gorgeous.
It's the most underrated state I've been to. Like, I can't believe how much I like Alabama. And I don't like the Crimson Tide because everybody seems to like them and they win all the time. They're like Duke and the Yankees, right? So there's nothing there in that regard. And I just really like it. And we've been multiple years in a row. Like, Auburn, Alabama is a cool place, Kasey. Like, you'll like it more than you think. The problem you're going to have is you're going with Amanda. And the one thing about Alabama that I love that I think super underrated is the golf. The golf is terrific in Alabama.
Yeah, there won't be any of that, unfortunately.
And you won't be doing that.
No.
Forbes ranked the best states to live in. Alabama came in number 43 on that list of 50.
Yep, there you go.
40th for economy, quality of life, 48th for education and health. That's a tough rank right there.
I will not make a joke.
That is a tough ranking right there.
That is a tough one.
You are the 2023 Los Angeles Rams of the state's rankings. That's basically what you're doing right there.
You don't even have a full roster.
You don't even have the roster. It's still gorgeous. Loved it. Trees. Yeah, they had trees, Kate.
Trees.
They had trees.
I loved it. Trees.
Trees. They had like cliff sides.
Well, they have mountains.
Yeah, it was
they hills. They've got.
It's gorgeous.
The food's good.
Weather's decent.
They have great college campuses. Like, we always go stop by campus. The campuses are fantastic.
Me and my wife went to a
Great
concert.
history. Birmingham's got unbelievable history.
Were you
venue?
happy because of the concert or because of
the concert venue was beautiful.
They probably had trees, huh?
It was outside, so there were trees, yes.
Aaron's like, I'll go anywhere that has trees. That's
and
my qualification.
Golf courses, man. I'm telling you, like, I wanted to stay and play more golf.
Yeah, golf.
And I love the golf around here.
I'll go to the concert. You go to the golf course.
I know. You do have to go outside to enjoy Alabama, so you might not like it.
Which
as
is
much.
weird why you like the trees.
I took a picture of myself sweating on a hike. You know what was on the hike, Case?
Do you have an underrated state that you've been to? Because listen, when you go
state.
visit a state, you're like, okay, I know why I'm going there, right? Like,
underrated.
I got one, but I've only been there once.
I got one.
It was Vermont.
You are the worst.
Smuggler's Notch, Vermont. I had to do this for college.
Did you think Vermont was going to be bad, though?
I thought it was going to be the worst.
Really?
Super boring and sleepy. We were going to like a ski resort, but I was told it wasn't like a nice resort. It was just out in the middle of nowhere on some ski mountain. And it was great. It was amazing. Awesome. Super fun.
Kasey, you got an underrated state.
Yeah, bro. I'm going with Arizona, Phoenix. That was dope.
Arizona's gorgeous.
Arizona's good. But
loved Phoenix.
Like, okay, this is a little different animal. I mean, he's like 25 years old. But, I mean, people retire at Arizona.
Boulder, Colorado in general,
Colorado
underrated
can't
state.
be listed on underrated
Yes, it
anything.
can.
No, it cannot.
If you don't have it in your top 5.
Well, no, that's why it's not underrated. Everybody's got it in their top 5.
I don't think they do.
Listen, I actually think it's overrated.
What?
Yeah.
It's the best state in the union.
You know why I think it's overrated? Because you know the number one thing to do in Colorado, well,
Get
outside
high.
of
Sit in your house, watch TV,
is hike.
Okay.
And I don't like hiking. I don't get it.
Look, do
This
I
is
look
a
like
you
someone
thing.
who likes hiking?
No.
I went hiking 3 different mountain ranges when I went to Colorado. I loved it.
Wow.
It was amazing.
That's the upset
Is
of
it-
the year.
You
Is
should be
it-
disappointing yourself, Brent.
Is it fair to say that the underrated states aren't on this coast? Because, like, I'm thinking about the ones around it, like maybe Alabama, whatever.
I don't think there
But
are
I
any
would say, like,
coastal states
Well,
that
what
are
about
underrated.
Delaware? Like, is Delaware? I've never been. Like, is Delaware?
There's a reason.
Right. But, like, I'm thinking about the states, like, around us. Like, nobody's picking Georgia in this. Nobody's picking South Carolina in this.
I think coastal states are hard to underrate just because people love the coast.
Ain't
so
nobody
much.
picking Tennessee in this.
I do think it's funny you guys mentioned this. I brought a story to the table today we don't have to get into, but it was a very Brent-specific story.
Oh.
World's largest Buc-ee's location.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up over in Ocala.
In Tennessee.
Oh, it's Tennessee.
Searville, Tennessee. And so this story grabbed my attention because Buc-ee's, Brent, that made a lot of sense to me.
I'm glad that you think Buc-ee's and Brent. I should have a piece of this thing.
Did you ever get to the bottom of the club melt situation, Brent? Remember I told you to get on that?
Yeah, I did not.
Okay, great.
What ended up happening when I went through this story and did my little highlight job, as folks on the stream can see, is that it ended up being a piece for tourism out of Searsville, Tennessee. So you talk about underrated and overrated. Listen to all the wonderful things there are to do in Searville, Tennessee. If you're a Dolly Parton fan, Case, and you've never been to Searville, what are you waiting for? So much to do related to Dolly, and downtown is a great place to start. You get to see the bronze statue.
Of Dolly Parton?
Yeah, it's been there since 1987. We've also got a wonderful mural on the side of the Pines downtown, a mural. So we're up to a statue and a mural.
Both
in your
of Dolly
city.
Parton?
Yes. And then for those who don't know,
she must have been born there.
Downtown is also the original theater where Dolly played her first paying gig at the age of 10, Brent.
Wow.
So you get to see the theater that she played at 75 years ago.
You know what's sad about this? It's highlighted and you have to read with your finger.
I just don't want to lose my place. It's small type. Small type. But here's the headliner. Enough about Dolly Parton, all right? You've had all you can handle about Dolly Parton. You're going to Searville, Tennessee. Make sure you stop by Xperia Ocean Journey. Anyone curious what that is?
It better not be submarines.
It's a movie.
Dolly.
It's a freaking movie. A movie about being underwater. You're just standing there and a movie with fish floating by. It's a 2-hour underwater
2 hours
digital cinema experience.
That business probably took a hit.
I was going to say, yeah, last couple of weeks, that didn't go well.
Yeah, exactly. Or you go in there and then you see a submersible kind of float by. You want to talk about overrated. Any rating on this town is an overrating. If your top 3 selling points are the mural of Dolly Parton, the bronze statue of Dolly Parton, and the underwater movie.
Well, Buc-ee's just went to the top of the list.
Twice over.
Am I wrong to say Dolly Parton's extremely overrated? Or is that just because I'm young?
No, it's a young bias.
It's kind of young.
It's young bias. Brent.
Legendary.
120 gas pumps and EV charging stations. A 200-foot-long car wash. Do you need so much car wash? Wow. That's like for the biggest stretch limo in the country. 7,400 square feet of Buc-ee's goodness. All the brisket, the pulled pork.
Does it say anything about the club melt?
No, but it does say the baked goods. You're alone on the club melt.
By the way, they're building the biggest one in the state of Florida. That's in Ocala.
That's in Ocala, huh? You're going to go down there a couple of times a week?
I don't need to. I've got one 5 miles away.
Yeah, but you don't want to go see the biggest one?
No.
It's like a bucket list.
They're all big.
What is he doing? He's not a fan, Case.
It's not a diehard. I mean, it's Ocala, dude. It's a quick trip.
I almost bought a 4th of July T-shirt from Buc-ee's this year.
That would have been impressive.
It's more shocking you didn't.
I'm just waiting to see Case graph the beaver.
I can make that happen.
He's got to show up. He's got to graph the beaver.
By the way, That's another statue coming to Cedarville, Tennessee, because they put a beaver statue out there.
They better. It better be better than bronze. Got to compete with the Dolly statue.
We'll be back. Is Doug Peterson on the NFL's top 10 head coaches list? Should be. Find out if he is. Next on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet. Now open in St. Augustine.
Racers and non-racers unite for a great cause. Join ESPN 690 at the 35-foot Fun Run, benefiting Ronald McDonald House Charities. It's at 121 Financial Ballpark on Sunday, July 16th, before the Jumbo Shrimp Game. Visit ESPN690.com and register to race in the 35-foot Fun Run. No training required. Presented by Miracle Windows and Showers, 121 Financial Credit Union, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, and ESPN 690.
If you're the victim of a car crash, never rush to settle with the insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anna Jar Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Jay is a foodie and a chef.
I'm a food truck owner with dreams of something bigger.
And at Community First, we get that. And we get you. We were founded over 88 years ago to help members live their best lives by providing the financial services they need. Today, that includes digital banking, great rates, and local decision-making.
So just be yourself.
At Community First and on the go. Learn more at communityfirstfl.org. Member NCUA.
This message is brought to you by True Coverage.
I really needed health insurance for me and my son, but didn't think I could afford anything. So I called. They looked up my zip code, and based on my income and where I live, they found out I qualify for no-cost health insurance. It took just minutes. They even found me a dental plan.
If you don't have health insurance or your health insurance cost is too high, listen to this because you may be eligible for no-cost health insurance. That's right, you could qualify for zero-cost health insurance for you and your family that covers all costs for things like doctor's visits and prescription medications. Call now for free to see if your income level and zip code qualifies you for zero-cost health insurance. Plus, see if you qualify for a cash card where you could earn cash of up to $500 to use for groceries, utilities, and more. Don't wait. Call 800-591-7204 right now to see if you and your family qualify for no-cost health insurance. The call is free, and it takes just minutes to see if you instantly qualify. Call 800-591-7204. That's 800-591-7204. 800-591-7204.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts provides more than just the right parts for your repair. Our professional parts people can also offer free check engine light diagnosis. We can scan your vehicle and provide a list of possible fixes. Find the right parts for you or recommend a great local repair shop. Don't ignore your check engine light. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If this were a Reese's TV ad,
you'd be staring at a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay, Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690. I like that music right there.
You're getting into this bump music. Try to go high energy, high tempo.
Kasey, your last 2 weeks, what'd you do? Anything exciting? Didn't you go to Indiana?
Nope.
No Indiana.
I thought you were traveling. You didn't travel anywhere?
I went to the illustrious vacation spot that is Palmetto, Florida.
He told you he was traveling so you wouldn't bother him.
I went by Palmetto. I saw the sign, and I was going to take a picture and share it. And I was driving.
Sign.
So
ain't got no sign.
No, there's Palmetto off 75. There's a sign for Palmetto.
Oh, that's my exit, dog.
Yeah,
you could have seen, if you looked to the left when you passed that, you would have saw my old neighborhood. My neighborhood is right off the interstate.
The sign just goes, "Welcome to Palmetto, comma, we're sorry."
Yeah, pretty much.
Is it Ellington?
Ellington, yeah.
Ellington's right there as well, right?
Ellington, little parish action. You pass the Outlet Mall.
Yeah, and the skating rink.
Oh, yeah. You
a skating rink, huh?
You pass
Olympians
JP
come from the
Igloo,
skating
dog.
rink.
Yeah.
Is it next to the bronze Dolly Parton statue?
No statue. It's next to the Outlet Mall.
How did Blue do I was thinking of Blue on 4th of July.
Not good,
So was I talking to you about this? No, I think it was somebody else. I don't know if you're gonna like this idea or not.
Has to do with you doing a lot of work, Case.
Like dogs are. I have a serious question about this. So dogs are pretty intelligent, right?
True.
Relative to what?
Just shut up.
Like to me? No, I won't shut up and say, because if he's saying a dog is intelligent compared to me, I'm like, no.
No, I'm saying like they're smart animals, right? For the most. I don't know what's a smart animal.
Smart.
A dolphin is a smart animal.
Okay.
An octopus is a smart animal.
Really?
An elephant.
Elephant's supposed to be smart.
Very smart, yeah.
They're smart.
Pigs are smart animals.
So I can understand when dogs are younger.
Okay.
But why haven't dogs figured out by, I don't know, like age 4 or 5 or whatever it is, that a couple times a year you're going to get these loud.
It's a really good point.
Because they have
dumb.
It's because they have no sense of time. So they don't remember that happened.
How do you know that? Are you
That's
talking
a
to
real
dogs?
thing. That's a documented study thing. That's a thing.
Looking it up.
Look it up.
Call in Bijan. Bijan's a new way to say it's bogus.
Oh. Is that
trying to make that happen?
I just made that up. I'm trying to make it happen right now.
That was awful.
I'm calling Bijan. No, we don't know that that's a thing.
Is that far-fetched for me to wonder?
No, and I'll tell you why it's not. Also, what we're told to believe is that when you leave the house, dog's like, oh, they're never coming back. I'm alone for the rest of my life.
Well, there's that time thing again.
They have no sense of time.
But also, they could just be really dumb.
Unlikely.
All right, how many buildings have they made, Case? How many cars do dogs drive?
See, now, in fairness, how many buildings have you made? Because then it goes back to your intelligence.
Humans have made lots of buildings. We're the only species that has made buildings.
True, but we can't, me and you and Brent, we can't claim all the moves that humans made. We can't put us under that umbrella and say, hey, we made buildings.
I'm not asking how many buildings Blue has made. I'm just saying dogs aren't smart relative to other animals.
They're just not smart.
I got to look up this time thing.
That hit me the other day because, I was walking through our neighborhood on July 4th, and I'm like, I see no dogs. The dogs were because it was getting close to dark.
They're hiding.
Everybody's hiding.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is going to be a tough night. I'm going to see this on social media the whole time. Everybody's going to be hating the fireworks. Like, I get it.
Yep.
But I was just like, I understand when you're a young pup, the confusion of it and everything else. I just figured by 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14 years old, you'd kind of figure it out sooner or later.
I got some updated info.
Your answer's fine. Like, I was genuinely curious. Like, why can't they figure that out?
What you got?
While dogs don't understand time like humans, point Kasey, they do have a sense of time and can feel time passing. Point Aaron. Dogs can't read clocks or calendars. Point Kasey.
Well, I get that.
But they can be taught to sit or stay for a specific length of time. So they understand time.
Not really.
They understand time.
They don't. That doesn't.
They may feel the time passing more slowly than humans.
Right.
But that makes sense to me because a dog only lives 15 years.
Goes back to the sense of time.
Does Blue get freaked out on thunder?
Yes.
Okay. So it's similar. That's like a similar sound to me. Right?
Yeah.
Do most dogs get freaked out in thunderstorms?
So,
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I was just curious about that.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I was thinking about.
That's good.
So you didn't enjoy the 4th of July. You hate it.
I hate it.
Did you hide under the bed
Like
with
the
Blue?
crazy thing is, like if you're a dog owner, you must hate the 4th of July.
It really is a pain in the butt. When we used to have our dog that was scared of and no pill or Thunder Buddy jacket would help, it was a real pain in the butt. You couldn't leave the house because the dog was going to tear everything up.
Like, I just don't get it. Like, if you have kids and you do like the little fireworks,
That's what we did. Yeah,
little
sparklers.
little sparkler action.
Yeah,
Like, okay, cool.
Little snaps. Yeah.
If you're trying to put on a jumbo shrimp level show in the cul-de-sac, bro, I'm sorry. Get a life.
I don't get it either. I don't get fire. And they're
Get
expensive.
a life.
Yeah, it's super expensive.
Like, I do not get the firework thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
you
I
are
get
literally
the big show. I get that, to your point. Like, downtown Jacksonville looked beautiful with the show, like all, and the sparklers. I'm with Kasey here. Like, I don't get why these firework places make so much money.
Just lighting money on fire.
Lighting money on fire, like, for a boom.
boom and a flash.
And at least
Maybe even a whistle.
somebody's going to get the Jason Pierre-Paul treatment, bro. You're going to have 2 fingers.
Well, that's what you look forward to every year.
I didn't see as much of that around here, though.
Oh,
like, that
it's
didn't
happened.
pass through the email system at the TV station.
Yeah.
It happened. Guaranteed.
Low financial year. Wait until everyone's got money again.
That's true.
Football at 5 coming up next on ESPN 690. Smoothie King is a family thing from my family. I love the Lean One vanilla and strawberry. My wife Steph gets the Lean One chocolate. My daughter Kaylee, the Caribbean way. And Ty goes all out for the Hulk. You have choices at Smoothie King. Smoothies for everyone, and now smoothie bowls too. And this summer, plunge into extreme watermelon smoothies, now available at Smoothie King for a limited time. Enjoy extreme watermelon, or for something more tart, dive into the new extreme watermelon lemonade. Extreme watermelon smoothies, back for a limited time, only at Smoothie King. Rule the day at a Smoothie King in Jacksonville.
Right now, American Window Products is offering the newest features in window technology with Ultra Dual Low E glass and insulated vinyl frames with magnet weather stripping on windows for an airtight seal to help reduce your energy usage. All at an affordable price. This exclusive offer is for a limited time, so act now to save big with 12 months zero interest financing. Schedule a free estimate at AmericanWindowProducts.com. American Window Products, the window professionals. Financing at time of sale for new orders only.
Victim of a slip and fall? It takes one phone call to take back control of your life. Anajar and Levine will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Call me, Mark Anajar, for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main office, Jacksonville.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Mike Lester, you are the founder of Talon Wealth, but you were not born with a subscription to the Wall Street Journal and a calculator in your hand. So what was your first job as a teenager?
Mowed yards. Of course, I couldn't drive. I was probably 12, 13. I had a skateboard. I could basically get everything on that lawnmower and drag myself on the skateboard to whatever lawn I had to mow.
Get to know Mike and the other Talon Wealth fiduciaries at guardingyournestegg.com.
Does your digital marketing work? Not sure? Would you like to be? Then reach out to CMG Local Solutions. At CMG Local Solutions, we help you find new customers with a suite of powerful digital marketing services, including search, targeted display, video, and analytics. In fact, we're a Google Premier partner, an honor given only to their top marketing partners. So if you want results you can actually measure, both on the web and on your bottom line, we can give them to you. Learn more about how we can help you at cmglocalsolutions.com.
What's up? It's Kasey. Check out the podcast Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, wherever you get your podcast.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The focus for Victor Wembanyama, now on his first NBA season. His summer league is over. The Spurs shutting down the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft after a second strong game in Vegas. The Trailblazers in no hurry to trade franchise cornerstone Damian Lillard. They're going to do what's best for the team, and if it takes months to do a deal, according to GM Joe Cronin.
Don't be reactive. Don't jump at things just to seemingly solve a problem. I think the teams that have ended up in the most positive situation post-trade have been the ones that have been really diligent and taken their time and not been impulsive. The teams that kept their urgency under control. So I think that's how my approach has been with this and will be with this.
Cronin also revealed he has not spoken with Lillard since the trade request was made. Dame does want to be sent to the Heat. MLB Network analyst Sean Kasey, hired as the Yankees' new hitting coach. New York's got the third worst batting average in all of baseball, 231. Big night in Seattle tonight, baseball's home run derby. Pete Alonso of the Mets, a plus 300 favorite to win per Caesars. Coverage 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN.
If you need solid hires fast, you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates from the same place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kurtz. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Football at 5 for the first time here in July. A couple weeks away. Countdown to camp is on. Countdown to college football. Florida State excited. Countdown to high school football, where we might have the most gifted quarterback class, or quarterback crop, I should say, in the history of Jacksonville.
Whoa, okay. That's a big deal.
We might. We're investigating that. But that's how good the high school football season could be. It's not just the 23 class. Could be, or I should say, what year are we in? 23? So not just the 24 class. It could be 24, 25, 26, but there's a lot of good quarterbacks in Jacksonville, and there's a good quarterback in Jacksonville for the Jacks.
Yeah.
And there's a good quarterback in Tallahassee for the Knowles. And I don't know what's going on in Gainesville.
Man, you mentioned the Knowles.
Nobody does.
They can have a quarterback.
No.
Glenn just mentioned he saw a publication say Jared Verse, the big defensive end from Florida State. Someone's got him as the number 1 pick in next year's draft.
I saw that.
Wow.
That person should have got fired.
Might be off by about 3 or 4 picks.
What?
But
Caleb
still,
Williams retire?
He might be the
He
number
went in the
1
supplemental draft.
He might be the number 1 non-quarterback selected.
Maybe that's what they meant.
He's that good. But I don't know if he's beating out Caleb Williams.
You know, it's really interesting. Like, we just saw this with Major League Baseball draft, which is a fascinating draft in general, I think. But the Sproat kid from Florida, the pitcher.
Is this the two-way kid?
No, not him.
Okay.
But Sproat was drafted out of high school by the Mets.
Okay, yeah.
Didn't go. It was like
they just drafted another high school kid too.
They draft them last year in whatever round. I forget which one, like the 90th overall pick, I want to say. He went back to college for his senior year. Like he went back. Guess why? Probably was getting the same amount of money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If not more.
Right? I mean, the bonus money is a 90th pick, let's just say, and whatever he was getting at Florida, probably similar. He's throwing gas, like triple digits, 100 miles an hour in college. And he went back to school. And he got drafted by the Mets for a third time.
He tried his best, man. He just couldn't
He said he tried his best to get away from the Mets. Okay.
I want to say, did he go 26th or something like that? I think it was.
It was 30-something, I think.
Or it's 36. I don't know what it was, but it's something in that range. So how about that? Been drafted 3 different times by the same club, and he improved his stock by doing so. So
I'm be real. Why pick him again if you're the Mets? Like, he doesn't want you.
Well,
bro.
but maybe it was like they ended up at a compromising place. Like, look, it's just not going to work for me this year. No hard feelings.
It's a money game when it comes to the baseball draft. It's absolutely a slot money kind of how much do you want. And with NIL, it becomes even more like that.
So it's funny you mentioned NIL and maybe making more money in college than he would have as a minor league ball player. But you sent me an article recently.
Listen, I could go make more money in college than I'm making as a minor league ball player.
That's fair, Kasey. Kasey makes more money than minor league baseball players do. But you sent me an article recently about the WWE now poaching some of these student athletes from different sports. But I read also interesting article about the PIF, the Saudi Public Fund.
Oh, yeah.
Now trying to throw some money at some of these universities to pump up their NIL. So imagine a situation where, Saudi really wants to put their stamp on an American college team, and they choose, hypothetically, let's just say FSU because they're on this station, and they throw $200 million as a booster club at it. Now you're upgrading facilities, you're paying kids way more than you have to, and you got a monster team happening. That might be on the way as well.
Well, the reason Glenn brought up Jared Verse for Florida State, I mean, wasn't he a first-round talent last year, or second-round talent?
Last year, first round.
I mean, he was going to be later in the first round, I think.
Yeah, they had him as a mid to late first-round pick.
And so he might improve it all the way up to a top 10, which is significant money, but that's a hell of a risk now. I mean, if you're like a first, second, you're a top 40 guy in the draft, let's just say, you're getting paid pretty good money.
Yep.
So to go back to school, where he's probably also getting paid pretty good money,
probably the best on the team,
to take the risk to go do it is now more worth it. And so what I guess my question here, guys, are we about to see a world where in baseball you used to get drafted out of your sophomore year, definitely out of your junior year, maybe not even go to college. You might come back and play all 4 years based on wherever you are and the money and the transfer rules and everything else. College, you're definitely coming out of your junior year in football. That's when most of the good players come out. They don't wait for their senior year. Maybe they now will go back for their senior year. And what about basketball? Could we get to a point even in basketball where the one-and-done thing isn't that cool? Because I'm going to get paid pretty good money to stay here at Kentucky.
Well, you're also finding the one-and-done kids now going to like G League or Europe and then coming back after that.
And there's a lot more basketball's a little different because there's a lot more outlets there, to your point, right? You can go play pro league, you can go play in Australia. You can get paid in a lot of different places, not just in college.
Wembanyama was in France. Not that he was an American, but you understand. Jared Verse, according to On3, you want to take a guess at what his annual NIL is right now?
I think FSU's doing a good job with the NIL game. He's got to be near the top of the list. Maybe Jordan Travis is higher, I would think. Let me say like one. Let me just not go outrageous here. Let me go $700,000.
Kasey, got a guess?
$432,000.
$923,000 annually for Jared Verse.
So almost $1 million.
Yeah, worth it to come back. Not that he wouldn't have gotten paid more in the NFL, but as a top 10 pick, doesn't that kind of kick in that fifth-year option thing where you're making a lot more money?
Well, the first round does that anyway.
All first round? I thought it was a certain pick level.
Yeah, but the bottom line is if you look at the overall money at pick number 28 or 25 versus pick number 8
substantial.
Or 10, it's pretty significant.
Yeah.
So, and it's less risk. Now, he's going to have $1 million in the bank anyway.
And more than that after a couple of years.
So, it's just, that's an interesting part of this. One other thing about the baseball draft I was thinking, guys, it's got to be the only draft that takes kids or young men or whatever from every level.
High school, college, and professional.
Yeah. But I'm talking like high school, Yeah,
junior college.
Junior colleges, NIA, Division III, Division II, Division I. Like, you ain't taking basketball players from the Division III school in the NBA.
Not in a 2-round draft. No.
Now, you get some JUCO guys or even, well, you're not
in
really
the draft,
JUCO,
though?
But
no.
in NFL draft, you'll get some Division II. You'll get Ben
Trey
Barch.
Lance.
Ben Barch. Yeah, or Trey Lance. So you'll have some stories. But you don't get high school kids.
No.
Right? You never get a high school kid.
Not in football, no.
So it's pretty fascinating that, I don't know why that hit me, like today or yesterday, the Major League Baseball draft. I mean, and let's not discount, there's also an ability to draft people international or take people internationally in separate drafts or different free agencies or whatever else.
I hate the baseball draft because it's also one of the only drafts where, like, your top picks, you may never see them professionally.
Well, but that's changed a little bit with the arms. Like Skeens goes number 1, and he might pitch this fall.
He's going to.
Like, if they can figure it out, he might pitch this fall. But because more people are coming out of college now, the draft picks, they're not taking high school pitchers anymore. I saw a graph, like it was like way down.
Marlins did it twice.
But it doesn't happen as much. And because of what you just said, you got 2 Tommy Johns probably to wait for that guy before he makes his MLB debut.
Yeah, I just keep remembering Brian Taylor was his big Yankees prospect when I was growing up. He was triple digits fastball when no one was doing it. And Tommy John, and you never heard from the kid again.
Well, and to credit Florida and Vanderbilt and others, they've done a nice job of developing these guys and not hurting these guys to be ready for getting drafted. So overall, they've done a good job. And now every Major League Baseball team figures a guy coming out of high school is going to have Tommy John if he hasn't already.
Yeah.
So you've got to plan on him being hurt for a year or 2. And so I think that's why you're seeing a lot more of these guys Major League Baseball ready from an arm position. You'll take the Max Clark kid as a top 5 pick. He's a high school kid.
3rd pick, yeah.
But when I think if you go back as recently as, let's just say 5, 7, 8 years ago, you're getting a ton of high school kids drafted.
It's just frustrating.
But now you're getting a ton of college kids drafted.
You can't get excited about your team's draft when the number 1 pick for the team, you're not going to see him for 2 or 3 years.
Well, that's why nobody does get excited about the Major League Baseball draft. I mean, it's not like they do. Nobody does.
The Pirates should. That kid's going to pitch.
Yeah, the Pirates, I think, a little bit different. And college baseball is growing in popularity in terms of eyeballs on it. So, like, these guys, Dylan Cruzes, the Langfords, like, you feel like you know them coming out of the College World Series and the baseball, the NCAA tournament.
Wasn't there another draft pick for the Mets in the last couple of years? Rocker?
Yes, Kumar Rocker.
Kumar Rocker tried to, like, desperately get away from the team.
No, he did. He did. Actually, what's happened to him?
He had Tommy John.
No, but did he come back and did he get drafted this year?
No,
or last year?
Yeah, the Mets picked him at like 7, something like that. They couldn't agree to a deal. He went and pitched independent league, got picked 3rd by Texas last year, and had Tommy John this year.
Oh, so he did have Tommy John this year.
Yes, with Texas. So he's part of their team. Now, that what's crazy about that is they ended up with that draft that he got picked 7th by the Mets. Texas picked Jack Leiter 2nd, who was the ace of Vandy. Rocker was the 2. They now end up with both of them. Rocker has Tommy John. Jack Leiter sucks. He has like a 5 in Double-A. He can't figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, Al Leiter
just got Langford from
too.
Florida this year.
True, and they got Langford.
And they're good right now.
And they're good.
So the Rangers look like they might be doing a good job in the farm as well. Major League Baseball draft going on. Quick shout out. Jackson Baumeister was the first Jacksonville guy. He had a really nice year at Florida State. He's a Bulls kid. And a quick shout out, too, to our man Mike Boswell. How about his year? He got his 500th win in high school coaching. He just had his first grandkid cup last week. His kid got another marriage for one of his children yesterday or 2 days ago. And then Baumeister gets picked in the draft. So that's a pretty good. And Hunter Barco was picked last year. I mean, Bulls continues to roll out a bunch of draft picks.
Just closing the loop on FSU's NIL. Jordan Travis this year at $1.2 million.
Is that what he's at?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Wouldn't you think, I mean, you almost get the idea that's crazier than that. Like $1.2 million is crazy, but
it feels small compared to a $50 million contract or something.
Well, or like I think it was a Texas kid that was like $3.5 million. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of outliers that are like that really skew what it looks like NIL is.
Bronny James, Livy Dunn, Arch Manning.
But now listen, if you could go back, if I go back to Ashland University in 1998 and somebody's giving me $1.2 million to play sports, woo, that's going a long way in Amish country, man.
$1.2 million when you were in college is probably worth $10 billion today.
Hey, before we get to tweets, which we will get to, and nothing's changed on this show. We're late to get the tweets. at football at 5. I want to get to at least something you printed out.
Oh, okay.
Top 10 head coaches entering 2023. I feel like we've done our own list in the past.
And it's very similar to this list, actually.
Is it? Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, Mike Tomlin, Kyle Shanahan, John Harbaugh.
Could we stop at 5 and, do we – because that's pretty much, with the exception of maybe Belichick, because without Brady, I think there are real concerns there.
Nah, Brent hates Shanahan.
Yeah, I don't like Shanahan.
And I know Brent hates Shanahan, but he's earned it.
In this. No, he hasn't.
He's earned it.
He's earned it more than a guy who's won a Super Bowl? No. McVay, Peterson, those guys have won.
I don't think you can hang.
Harbaugh won a Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think you can
Why
hang.
Shanahan top 5?
Well, just look at the write-up right here. Been one of the best offensive minds in the league for more than half a decade. Continues to be. Since 19, Niners have the second highest cumulative offensive grade, only behind the Kansas City Chiefs. 7th in the league EPA per play over that span. Also, and this is the part that I think really speaks volumes to what kind of a leader and head coach he is, his coaching tree. Look how his coaching tree is all over the NFL. Robert Saleh, Mike McDaniel, DeMeco Ryans, Mike LaFleur.
And we don't know if any of them are good.
Well, we don't know that.
We don't.
Mike McDaniel seemed pretty good last year.
I like Mike McDaniel, yeah.
I like Robert Saleh. He's a good
I
coach.
love Saleh.
We think Saleh's a leader of men, do we not?
Yeah,
I think he's a good football coach.
Saleh's not a Shanahan tree guy.
Why not?
Whatever.
He
He's
played
a
on his
Gus
defense.
Bradley tree guy before he was a Shanahan tree guy.
Yeah, you're probably not going to win that one.
All right.
I mean,
DeMeco Ryans.
factually
People are hot
correct,
to trot on DeMeco Ryans.
What I think is criminal is Nick Sirianni in 8th.
Oh,
what
enough
are we
with
doing?
Sirianni. He hasn't. What are you giving like if Brent's sitting here talking Super Bowl on coaches? Like, what are you giving to Sirianni? The best roster we've seen in 40 years.
Okay,
the guy's going to win the Super Bowl.
But you're saying the same. Kyle Shanahan's had great rosters too.
Not an Eagles level roster.
He's had damn good ones.
He's had very good ones.
I mean, like here's my
and no
beef.
quarterback, and he's still gotten to the playoffs.
Listen, I do have. I am just not as high on Shanahan as everybody else is.
Okay.
I also do acknowledge he's very good offensively.
There it is.
But I'm also going to give you this. I'll take Doug Peterson over Shanahan offensively.
I can't debate that.
I'll take Doug Peterson culture over Shanahan. I'll take Doug Peterson right now over Kyle Shanahan. He should be higher on this list. He's got a Lombardi trophy. And right now, I think he's just as good, if not better. I mean, he's got a great offensive mind. We just saw it last year. He brought offense to a place that didn't have offense for 15 plus years.
True.
It's impressive.
In 1 year, he changed it. He changed a culture in 1 year.
How easy would the culture change have been? How easy would the turnaround have been if Brock Purdy was his quarterback and not Trevor Lawrence?
Not good, but probably not as good because I'm not as big a believer. Now, Kasey might say, yeah, he likes Purdy.
Might have been easier.
He's so confused. But he's like, what? What's the problem?
Yeah, sounds like a great scenario, actually. Sounds like what you want to sign up for.
No, make the trade. Go ahead.
But he pulled a guy that was Purdy's 7-0 in his starts. Trevor Lawrence, with all the talent in the world, was 3 really he was 5-20 at one time.
He was depressed.
5-20, I think it is the number.
Yeah.
And he turned that around. So again, I'm a big Doug doesn't get enough credit, and I do believe Kyle Shanahan gets a little too much credit.
Okay.
And that doesn't make him bad. But he ain't top 5 on this list. Not when you've got Super Bowl winners behind him.
You got Sean McVay after him. Another one of your Super Bowl cases there, although I think Sean McVay's a good coach. Doug Peterson coming in at 7.
Yep.
Probably.
That actually is very nice for a national publication to
agree.
Oh, it's your boy you couldn't get on.
Tampa Bay Trev.
Yeah.
I went about it the wrong way is all. I threatened his family. I shouldn't have done that.
You shouldn't have done that, considering he's like married to Alyssa Lang.
Oh.
He used to work in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I thought Tampa Bay Trev is your guy.
No, I don't really know him that well, but I mean, I think I could help if you need help.
I just need to go through the booker next time instead of like stalking people on Twitter, but that's fine.
The ship has sailed.
Why don't you ask me first?
Kind of like Jason's.
Okay, let's do that.
All right.
McVay in 6, Peterson in 7, Sirianni.
Nick Sirianni.
At 8, and then, McDermott.
I don't get that.
I don't get it either. And Dable at 10. I understand the Dable heat, but I still think he needs another year or two of success.
Yeah, the Dable's got a lot of
McDermott, I think you're going to see slide. And I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now. Some of it is like I want to put it out there and hope for it to happen. But
yeah, you're down on Buffalo.
I will say this. Leslie Frazier, and it's come out while we were out, Leslie Frazier left the Bills because McDermott insisted on calling defensive plays this year. And so Frazier was like, peace. Have a good time.
What I don't get about McDermott is it's the exact same scenario as it is with the Bengals and Zach Taylor, but Zach Taylor doesn't get love for it. You get the quarterback, he becomes good, your team becomes good, you're suddenly a good coach. Zach Taylor, same deal, conquers the Chiefs almost every time, never gets talked about in these conversations. Same thing.
That's a good call. I think that's a fair call
I don't
because
know if
I
it's a
had
good
Zach.
call.
I had Zach Taylor fired. Like I thought he should have been fired. He turns around, he goes to the Super Bowl.
Like he had an amazing season, but if we're
it's
talking
2
about
years now, he's built
help,
a thing.
If you're talking about help from the roster, you've got a great quarterback, and then you fed him 3 primetime receivers.
Okay, that's fair. Wow,
You had to make
2.
a call.
Let's go 2.
You've got 3 good receivers, great receivers on that team.
Well, Boyd was already there.
I'm not saying but I'm not going great on Boyd. Let's not overdo it. He's a third option that's very good.
2 great.
Third option on the Bengals.
2 great and a really good option for 3.
Yeah, that's fine. But I think you guys could be a decent option behind Higgins and Chase.
You ain't seen me play like that.
Boyd could be the best number 2 receiver in the league on any other team.
I don't agree with that at all.
That's kind of reckless. But
okay.
Here's the thing. As a coach, what you're not giving the Bengals enough credit for is building a staff. Okay. And find their defense
right
with a lot of no-namers or very subtle namers has been very good. Very good. So he hired the right guy on defense. He's an offensive guy, hired the right guy on defense, built a winning culture. Again, turned around a loser of a franchise.
Like a perennial loser.
Into a winner the last couple of years. I agree with Kasey here. He should get more love, even though I almost had him fired a couple of years ago.
And the last one I can't figure out, and I keep checking, and I went on Twitter and everything. Did Pete Carroll retire?
Yeah, that's another
one.
one.
Are you putting him above?
Are you serious?
No, I'm asking your opinion is all. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Dable, McDermott, I hate to do it. Sirianni.
By the way, you might be able to put him ahead of Doug. Like I would be okay with him ahead of Doug. He's done it for a long time. He won a Super Bowl. He went to back-to-back Super Bowls. He just won with Geno Smith.
He made the right call on Russell Wilson.
He made the right call there.
If I'm a head coach in the NFL and I win the Super Bowl in, hypothetically, 2010, and it's 2023, you're still giving me credit for that as one of the best coaches in the league?
Belichick.
It was like a career ago.
Well, I'm going to give you more credit than guys that haven't won one. And by the way, he just came. If you're going to give Dable the sexiness of a year,
and I'm not, but okay,
right? Like on this list,
yeah.
Then as sure as hell, I mean, Pete Carroll gets it for last year's job of getting the playoffs, and then you add in all the other stuff. Yeah, I mean,
I'm with you.
I mean, that's a total miss on this list. Is Carroll?
Let me go back to something Kasey said because he made me feel like an idiot, and I'd like to return the favor. Did you feel Christian Kirk was a number 1 receiver last year?
Did I feel like Christian Kirk was a number 1 receiver last year? For the Jags?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, because in 2018, Tyler Boyd, 76 catches, over 1,000 yards. 2019, 90 catches, over 1,000 yards.
Okay.
Then he starts to get some traffic in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but you're telling me this guy wouldn't be a top number 2 receiver all over the league. You're sitting here like he's a number 3 receiver.
What were you doing in 2018? 5 years ago? What were you doing?
Working on the radio?
Yeah, who cares? It was 5 years ago. Nobody cares.
I'm just saying that was the last chance he had the opportunity to catch balls on a consistent basis.
Might have had more of an opportunity if he continued to show, but then he got overtaken. I like Tyler Boyd, right? We're arguing over the same thing, but to say he's the best number 2 in the league, you're reckless. Look at some of these teams.
I'm not saying I'm saying he could be if given the opportunity. If given the opportunity is all I'm saying.
I think if he...
Jalen Waddle.
He doesn't have the opportunity.
Jalen
Waddle. That's right.
Ayuk's better than him.
I think...
I don't know about that.
I think in the right situation. Now, if he's the number 2 on the Buffalo Bills with Diggs on the other side, I might argue with you.
Okay.
Right? But I love Jalen
on the Jets with Aaron Rodgers?
Man, give up on the Jets. I know it's been 2 weeks, but just
it's been 2 weeks.
On.
Dalvin Cook's going to the Jets, sounds like.
Oh, it's
all right, let's take a break. We get to some tweets. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday, everybody. Good to be back talking some football when we come back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Showers will be ending this evening as skies become partly cloudy overnight. Temperatures in the 70s. Partly sunny to start your Tuesday, then more showers and thunderstorms develop with some heavy downpours and highs in the upper 80s to low 90s. For the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Save up to 40% now during the Christmas and July sale at Beard's Diamonds.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Don't give in to that constant joint pain. Take control. Take back your quality of life today with help from QC Kinetics and do what you want to do this summer. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. QC Kinetics is helping people every day here in Jacksonville and all across the country with their amazing non-surgical treatments that repair and restore damaged joint tissue. And you can get a free consultation with QC Kinetics by calling 904-274-5522. They use the latest advances in regenerative medicine, taking your own body's healing agents and concentrating them right in the area where you have the agonizing pain. This incredible non-invasive approach helps you take back control of your body, relieving the pain in the knees, hips, shoulders, or back. No invasive surgery, no harmful drugs or steroids, and no downtime. Listen, summertime needs to be about having fun and making memories. Golfing, hiking, pickleballing. Enjoy the outdoors. Take control now and start living pain-free again. Call now for your free consultation with QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. 904-274-5522 in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522.
According to McKinsey & Company, Hispanics are the fastest growing minority, and they have the highest rate of entrepreneurship of any race. Their businesses have grown by 12% over the past 5 years, compared to 5% of their non-Hispanic counterparts. The First Coast Hispanic Chamber of Commerce invites all business professionals to participate in our education, networking, and community outreach programs. Become a member at fchcc.com. Our chamber is your chamber.
Make the superior choice when you hire a plumber. From unclogging drains and water heater repairs to complete cast iron pipe replacements, Superior Plumbing and Pipelining has you covered. Request a free estimate from Superior Plumbing and Pipelining at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
Jasmine is Northeast Florida's only LGBTQ+ youth center, offering health and mental health programs, housing supports, and teen and family initiatives. Jasmine is the safe place our LGBTQ+ young people need right now. Partner to support our effort. Visit jasmine.org today.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Kinetico softener and drinking water system. Kinetico's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Kinetico K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Kinetico Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Kinetico dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Hey, Jen, sorry I'm late. I had to stop for gas.
Yeah, I can't believe how much it costs for gas now.
I know, everyone's still talking about how much gas is, but I never pay full price. I just use the free Upside app, and I get cash back for every gallon of gas I buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid real cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yeah, I earn back up to 25 cents a gallon every time I buy gas.
What? That sounds like it could really add up.
It sure does. I've made over $300 already.
Wow, that's serious extra money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CAR3 for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CAR3 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus in your first tank. That's code CAR3 for 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
The Dell Technologies Black Friday and July event starts now with limited quantity deals on top business PCs with Windows 11 Pro. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Plus, get special financing with Dell Business Credit. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. Offered to business customers by WebBank, who determines qualifications for and terms of credit.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my gramps used to call resolutitude. Not a real word, but let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring. because of its irresistible scent, and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring at Walmart today.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690. I think I did miss you guys a little bit.
Aw.
Just a little. Makes one of us.
I absolutely miss the two of you. I miss yelling at Kasey and him yelling at me. I miss you looking at us like, what the hell is wrong with you guys?
Yeah, I just did that during the whole break, in fact. I had to go to a different room.
You did run.
He really did.
Aaron said, hey, you look at this. What do you see?
It's a hidden camera or hidden whatever. I don't know. I don't want to be associated with it.
I've always wondered about the hidden camera situation.
like, what do they know is going on in here?
Lots.
Yeah.
And they're not hidden, by the way. They're on top of every computer in this room.
That's fair, actually.
Brent and Friends back at it on ESPN at 690. Hey, you never know if the key card's going to work. At least it worked.
It actually didn't at first today. I didn't even tell you guys that. I put it up and it just didn't do anything. I was like,
first reaction, happy or sad?
I started turning around. I was like, I got somewhere else I could be. Okay. So, like, all right.
I was telling Kasey before the show started, Brent, I don't know if we mentioned this. We started talking about it, then we stopped. I asked you if you were happy to be back on the show.
Yeah.
And I was about to tell you, I love doing this show. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's like the most fun thing that I get to do at work. For real.
But
earlier today, I'm sitting in my office. Kasey shows up, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this today. It's been 2 weeks.
I get used to it.
I'm not really feeling it today.
I actually said to somebody today, I was like, how can we extend this into a month? That's my mission. Can we? I know they already don't love the fact that it's 2 weeks.
They do not.
But the listeners, too. We had some people who were waiting on us.
I know. But, I mean, one more week, maybe go 3.
Maybe a couple more weeks.
Can we buy the time? Can we buy the week and just not show up?
Just shut it down.
I heard week one's like September sometime. We know who's making the team preseason.
That being said, it's great to be back. Let's get some tweaks.
That being said, we missed it. All right, let's start off with something we began talking about earlier on the show. I want to revisit this for those who missed it, though. Right now, there are 4 major marquee players who have been offered a franchise tag tender who have not signed it yet. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, and Evan Ingram. Out of those 4, tell me 3 who will sign and 1 who will not.
I think you had this right earlier. Again, I'm on the Ingram train. I'm starting to get on the Saquon train. I'd say keep me off the Josh Jacobs train. So I'll take those 3 guys. Everybody else but Jacobs
is the odd man out.
Yeah. Who's the 4th guy?
Yeah.
You got Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, and Evan Ingram.
Pollard. So, yeah, Pollard.
I'm sorry, which one? Not that they'll sign the franchise tender. Who won't do the extended long-term deal?
Yeah, so 3 get extended.
Wait, was it?
Josh Jacobs doesn't.
Okay. Tony Pollard signed like months ago, but okay.
Yeah. No. Did he do the extension? Or did he just sign the franchise tag?
Nope, it's like extension.
Yeah, he got the extension at like 100. 100.
Maybe Miriav's leading me down the wrong road here.
He's leading you down the wrong road, but I will.
Well, that's why we got that one locked in.
Yeah.
I was just going to fool you.
Here's my thing. I don't.
Trick question, Case.
I was like, all right, because I'm thinking over here. I'm spinning.
Yeah, you're right. They did do a deal for him.
I'm not saying it's your
Zeke
fault.
who didn't get the deal, and then they shipped him out. Yeah,
bingo. I don't think Ingram's signing. I don't think Josh Jacobs is signing.
So none of these guys.
None of them.
You think none of them are getting the extended deal?
I do not believe they will.
I think Saquon's going to get that deal, especially after the last couple of days. They're all talking about how much it's starting to come together for them. I think they'll get that done.
If anyone, Saquon, but I feel strongly that Jacobs won't, because not just the Jacobs part of it, but like the Raiders part of it, all of that isn't a perfect marriage. I'm telling you, I don't think the Jags, I don't think that comes together.
What do you think is the holdup there?
Which team?
For the Jaguars and Ingram, you don't believe the long-term deal will get done?
No, I just think you
think Evan wants more than the Jags are willing to pay, and that's it.
Especially with what happened with the tight end market, I think the money you're going to get on the tag is good. I think it's good for what other tight ends are getting right now. And I think if you're the Jags, you want to run it as you have it. And next year you have to make a ton of decisions. Might as well just add Ingram to it and not get caught like you got caught with Cam this year, where you
put
have
yourself
to
in
play
Ingram's shoes for a second, Brent. If you don't think you're getting a $15, $16 million deal next year, what's the problem with playing at market value?
Yeah, I don't think this is really about – I think Ingram would be okay with it. But they hire agents to do a job, and they defer to the agent a lot. Now, a lot of times a player will have more control, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes like, hey, you go work it out. I trust you. Get it done. I don't know that relationship between him and his agent. I think, of course, you want to think you're worth X amount of dollars.
Okay.
I got a feeling like a guy like Ingram is probably can see the logic in what you just said. Hey, the market wasn't where we thought it was. I've always been saying from an Ingram standpoint, go get as much guaranteed money as you can get right now. You bet on yourself and delivered. Don't bet again, just in case. Sometimes it's circumstantial. Injuries, Calvin Ridley's here, whatever.
Whatever it is. You may just have a down year and hurt your value.
So I would go get as much guaranteed money as I can, even though you're probably, in the long run, might make just as much, $11 million on the tag this year, and maybe you get a $14 million signing bonus next year on whatever deal you do, and that equals the 25 that you might have got this year guaranteed. Or, I'm just throwing numbers out. But I think it really comes down to the agent, what Kasey said, and also we'll see the team financial folks. Does it make sense as you project down the road? I'll flip the question on its head a little bit, though. You get Saquon Barkley, Ingram, or Josh Jacobs. You only get to bet that one deal gets done. One deal's going to get done.
You're telling me one's guaranteed.
One's guaranteed to get done. Which one is it?
Ingram in a heartbeat.
Whoa.
Ingram in a heartbeat.
They can't not get the deal done with Saquon. That's the whole team.
But they chose to not get the deal done with Saquon. They
I
had
know,
the
it's
opportunity.
weird. I get it. It's weird.
They had the money all open.
They'll
before they paid Daniel Jones $40 million plus, they had the opportunity to sign Saquon, even negotiate with him. They didn't have to pay him $16 million a year. You didn't need the McCaffrey deal to get it done. They actually offered him the money last year.
If I know one's getting done, it's Saquon. The Giants will cave. They have to. I don't know why Trent Baalke would do it. I really do not.
Maybe it's because I read that article about running back value this year compared to other years and why it's happening and what could be done.
That's the one you print out. It was like 18 pages?
Yes.
So we're talking a lot of trees.
We're talking a lot of trees.
Which is weird why you love trees, going back to earlier.
Just in Birmingham, not actually here in Jacksonville.
Gotcha.
Certainly not in the printer. I find it hard to believe running backs will ever get paid ever again without the union stepping in and trying to do something with the rookie contracts.
I don't necessarily disagree, but in Brent's perspective, I'm going with Saquon.
Yeah, I think it's Ingram.
He's their team. Brent, you got a pick?
Yeah, I think I would wager Ingram because I could see more going wrong with the Barkley thing because of the star power, the value, what they want versus – and it's New York. It seems like there's friction and problems sometimes there more than there is here in – not always in Jacksonville, but in this climate, I think both these guys we know want to get the deal. Like they want to work together. I don't know if they want to work together for a long term in New York. They might say it, but I don't know if they want it as badly. So I'm going to go with Ingram as well.
Yeah.
From a likely standpoint.
All right, let's go to ML football a little closer to home, guys. Not that Evan Ingram wasn't close to home. Here's another guy that I tried to book outside the lines. I actually got a response from Matthew Wright. This is from ML football. Interesting. Former Jacksonville Jaguars standout kicker Matthew Wright.
I like how they put standout out there. Thank you.
You might remember him from 2 seasons ago. I'm sorry, I just lost it. Sorry.
You might want to use your finger again to read.
My index finger?
Yeah.
My boomery finger?
Yeah, that's it.
Matthew Wright, 15 best kickers in the league since 2013, according to PFF.
I told y'all, man.
If you take kickers on their first 46 attempts, only 6-time Pro Bowler Justin Tucker, Dustin Hopkins, and Kansas City standout Harrison Butker, only those guys are statistically better since 2013. Wright was a 2-time second-team All-AAC and is still somehow a free agent.
That's not that impressive, to be real with you.
He tells ML Football he's been staying in kicking shape and is ready for any opportunity that presents itself. I'll say this about Matthew Wright. The man didn't have to respond to me, and he took time to do it.
He's a legend, dude. I tried to tell you guys this
You
guy
love
was
Matthew
good.
Wright. I saw this. Okay, so why doesn't he have a job? Quite simply, why doesn't Matthew Wright have a job?
Conspiracy theory.
Why doesn't he have a job?
I mean,
he was blackballed by the league.
For what? Is the question.
Being too good right away? I don't know.
I mean, it's serious. It's as simple as, I mean, are kickoffs valued to that degree? And we just didn't realize it until Matthew Wright walked into our life? Like, did we just take it for granted?
He was on a team last year for a little bit.
But, like, kickoffs all of a sudden have become we have extinguished the kickoff return. We've tried to. Now there's fair catches and everything, right? And yet I feel like, and maybe it's just because it's in Jacksonville, that's probably a good reason why I feel that way. Matthew Wright and then Riley Patterson, I believe he was replaced because of a 15% difference in touchbacks.
With what's his name?
Brandon McManus.
With McManus versus Patterson. And Wright, I feel like doesn't have a job because of his leg strength, which I think is a little more penalizing for him than, let's just say, Riley Patterson does have a bigger leg than Matthew Wright. But this kickoff stuff it's just weird. I mean, we've been covering the sport for a long time, and I don't know if it's just because it's in our backyard and that's why it's relevant now, or if it's just like this new analytical thing that is valued to whatever degree to keep these guys without jobs.
Well,
a guy like Matthew Wright without job, a guy that can make kicks, doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
If the decision was made by the Jaguars front office on a player, analytics had a lot to do with it. So I'm sure there's some metric that.
Well, that's across the league for the most part.
For the most part, but we know that the Jaguars are heavy believers in the analytics.
And this might just be because the Jags have had 18 of them in the last 3 years. But it feels like relatively like the kickers in the league are like who they are. So, like, I'm not saying my man's isn't in that group, but, like, kicker gets cut, goes to another team. Like, if you're in the league and established, you get every chance before they actually – like, the only reason Matthew Wright got a chance is because the Jags went through 20 dudes that could not make a kick.
But isn't it also –
Well, and then he got a chance in, like, didn't he go to Kansas City for
Yes.
right?
I thought he went to Detroit. Maybe
Kansas
he came
City.
from Detroit.
It was Kansas City.
But then isn't it like the only position in any sport where you get like 3.5 seconds to try out an audition and then it's over, even if you get the job?
Well, it's a quick tryout. I mean, Kasey brings up a good point, and I want to piggyback off that point. Like, Carol Santos, who kicked down at St. Joe's Academy, he's been bounced around the league a little bit and had a lot of success.
It's the
He
same
builds the
dudes.
resume, but you're right. These guys do kind of
It's very-
almost like coaching, right? They kind of stay in the league once they're in the league.
Yeah.
I'll ask this question, though. Is the reason Matthew Wright is not in the league right now because everybody likes their kicker? And I don't know the answer to this. Does everybody like the kicker they have?
Sounds impossible.
It does, but that's another one where I'm like, okay, because Jacksonville, they haven't liked the kicker in forever. But, like, when you think about some of the teams or the teams that you watch in the playoffs, like, they pretty much have the same kicker that they've had. Like, Bucker, to your point, Tucker are legends. I get it. But it's the same dude.
Okay, but just
Jason
by the
Myers
nature
is still wherever. Like,
by the nature of numbers, 32 teams in the league, there are guys who are worse than other guys.
Okay, but Matthew Wright not being able to kick it as 5 yards as far as that other guy kind of eliminates him, is my point.
Okay, but maybe there are teams who are still snake bitten from losing the game in the last couple of seconds because of inaccuracy as a kicker, and then here comes Matthew Wright just lighting them up.
I feel like 2 years ago, I'm saying 2 years, it might have been 3, might have been a year and a half ago, I don't know. It was like everybody was missing kicks. It wasn't just extra points, but everybody was missing kicks. It was like we had this like epidemic. Like we couldn't figure it out in the NFL. Like, what are we doing? We can't. I mean, they're shanking them, they're kicking them, boinking them. They're just not getting it done outside of the elite kickers in the league. And I almost feel like the kicker now, based on what we were just talking about, has become a little bit like the quarterback. It's like, hey, we got a guy, and we kind of like our guy. And we'll keep you on speed dial in case the guy gets hurt or doesn't do well. And I think that's where Matthew Wright is. I think he now becomes the pinch hit guy for somebody who pulls a hammy for 4 weeks and says, hey, this guy can come get the job done, and we'll go back to our guy when he gets healthy.
It's unfortunate because the numbers bear out that he's probably better than that.
he's like the GOAT of GOATs. There's
Well,
like
he's
4
not the
dudes in the
GOAT.
history of ever kicking footballs that are better.
It's not a goal.
At least in the last 15 years.
Settle down
Like,
about
just
that.
barely better than Matthew Wright.
We got tweets in, so that's good. I'll give you a story from my 2-week hiatus that I think you're going to like.
I would love
when
to
we
hear
come
it.
back. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Put a bow on the show on our first day back, July 10th, a couple weeks away now from camp. But don't forget to check us out on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to Action Sports Jacks. You can also listen to the podcast hour by hour all the time. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. And, hey, registration's open for the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 golf tournament, September 18th at Southampton. Go visit ActionSportsJacksDream18.com. Get your foursome ready, and we'll have some fun in the middle of September.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine. Racers and non-racers unite for a great cause. Join ESPN 690 at the 35-foot Fun Run, benefiting Ronald McDonald House Charities. It's at 121 Financial Ballpark on Sunday, July 16th, before the Jumbo Shrimp Game. Visit ESPN690.com and register to race in the 35-foot Fun Run. No training required. Presented by Miracle Windows and Showers, 121 Financial Credit Union, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, and ESPN 690.
We're in the middle of summer. Be ready for anything, on the road or off the road, at Nimnick Buick GMC. No one will ever pay over MSRP at Nimnick Buick GMC, the place where my family has purchased 6 vehicles since we've been in Jacksonville. Go to Phillips Highway or NimnickBuickGMC.com. Are you looking for a used car under $18,000? Maybe one for the kids? Nimnick has a great selection, over 300 used cars, trucks, and SUVs to choose from. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Nimnick Buick GMC. GMC, we are professional grade.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
This message is brought to you by True Coverage.
I really needed health insurance for me and my son, but didn't think I could afford anything. So I called. They looked up my zip code, and based on my income and where I live, they found out I qualify for no-cost health insurance. It took just minutes. They even found me a dental plan.
If you don't have health insurance or your health insurance cost is too high, listen to this, because you may be eligible for no-cost health insurance. That's right, you could qualify for zero-cost health insurance for you and your family that covers all costs for things like doctor's visits and prescription medications. Call now for free to see if your income level and zip code qualifies you for zero-cost health insurance. Plus, see if you qualify for a cash card where you could earn cash of up to $500 to use for groceries, utilities, and more. Don't wait. Call 800-591-7204 right now to see if you and your family qualify for no-cost health insurance. The call is free, and it takes just minutes to see if you instantly qualify. Call 800-591-7204. That's 800-591-7204. 800-591-7204.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
Are you a real estate investor or have considered investing and want to know where you can put your money that offers solid returns and protects against market volatility? It's Rich Jones. I want to introduce you to DLP Capital, CEO and founder Don Wenner.
For more than a decade, DLP Capital has delighted our investors with consistent double-digit returns. Through the smart, conservative real estate investment strategy our company is built on, we have been able to achieve this with monthly distributions and tax shelters so our investors can keep more of their returns.
Dial **invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Jasmine is Northeast Florida's only youth center for LGBTQ plus teens and young adults, and for nearly 29 years has worked to help the community be a more welcoming place for our young people, offering mental health programs, peer counseling, family time, HIV testing and prevention, and a front door to homeless youth. Jasmine continues to be the safe space our LGBTQ plus young people need as they navigate this tumultuous time in their lives. Although progress has been made, our work is still necessary to reach the ultimate goal, equality and human rights for all. Partner to support our LGBTQ plus teens and young adults. Visit jasmine.org today.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa"?
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Turn your home into restricted airspace. Tell incoming flights you want them diverted. The new Raid Essentials Light Trap plugs into the wall and uses light to attract, then trap flying insects like fruit flies and mosquitoes. Its 24/7 continuous attraction provides insecticide-free protection that's people and pet friendly. Consider air service interrupted. New Raid Essentials Light Trap. Insecticide-free protection.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. I like this. Where do you find this stuff?
At
Digging through it.
CoolMusicBeds.com. The music beds we had, I kind of liked, if I'm being honest. I got used to them.
Shuffle them in, baby.
But like
Doesn't
those
have
old
to be
ones,
a complete flush.
It's been like 4 years of them, though. It's like time to move on a little bit.
I know it. I like it. I appreciate the refresher. I like the look.
I'm glad you
I don't
like
know if
it,
everybody,
man.
a lot of people will like change.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody's saying anything on YouTube channel or
not yet.
Anything?
Not yet. I'm
Like,
sure.
what did you guys do?
I'm sure it'll happen at some point. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it. We'll see.
I like it.
We'll see.
But I appreciate you. You nailed it earlier. Like, you saying you just like it because you know I worked on it? It's like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, you're
But
that
I
kind of
appreciate
guy.
the
You're a
work.
nice guy. You appreciate it. I understand that. But like Kasey will tell you, I'll go to him for critique. I won't go to you.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because I think that you'll be like, oh, this is good, man. Thank you. And it's like, I'm not.
That's Brent.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the sentiment you're giving. But I'm interested in where it sucks so I can make it better.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of like that, actually, too.
Yeah.
Like, I would prefer somebody tell me just that it sucks.
Yeah.
But you
doesn't-
won't do it, though.
Like,
But I don't do it. But because it doesn't always suck. Like,
'Cause he doesn't wanna be
didn't
mean.
No, I didn't feel strongly. If I felt like it sucked, I think I would have said something. Maybe not right off, but maybe by the end of the show here today.
So you're still feeling the yellow, though? Because that's what I
Kasey
said.
hates it.
You don't like the yellow?
I said the yellow is a bold decision.
It is
Aaron
bold.
was like, yeah.
It's bold. It stands out. It's high contrast.
So we actually were looking for some feedback on the yellow specifically, but instead
Well,
said,
no. I was looking for feedback on the whole package.
I was looking for
I don't want to single out one piece.
I agree with you. Like, I think the yellow is a different twist to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't think I haven't reached a point where I don't like it.
I need to sit with it for a week. And then
Yeah,
I'll
I
trust
think
my
that's a
opinion.
little bit of it. We'll have to get some feedback on it, see what everybody thinks.
Do you like the yellow, yes or no? YouTube
Right now.
chat.
But hey, here's the other thing. I like a refresher. I like a new look.
That's
and so
me.
right now I'm absorbed in the newness of it. More than the actual like, okay, this is bothering, whatever.
Yeah, I'm the kid who growing up I would switch where my furniture was every year or two in the room.
Yeah, yellow's a power color, isn't it?
That's my wife.
I think it is actually.
Is it yellow? Yeah,
Yellow,
red,
red.
is, right?
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But I think yellow is too,
I think
which is
so,
odd
too.
to me. I wouldn't feel that, but I think it is.
I think it's just like one of these loud, high contrast colors.
Makes sense. That's why they make highlighters like that.
That's fair. Yeah.
All right, so gone for 2 weeks. I told you what happened. So we had two different trips. Fort Myers. We went Fort Myers to Valdosta, believe it or not, from
Valdosta.
baseball to softball. So when I was on the road to the last show 2 weeks ago, we were actually in Gainesville. So we went Gainesville, Fort Myers, Valdosta. Fort Myers and Valdosta closer to the sun than any other places this summer so far. I mean, holy cow, is it hot?
Yeah.
It
Well,
was hot.
you picked a couple of rough weeks to be outside for baseball.
My gosh, we came back to Jacksonville for 3 days, and it felt like I was up north. It felt comfortable.
This is why when the severe storms roll through, it's kind of cool. It'll go from like 97 to 76 in a matter of minutes.
It is nice. Yeah, it is.
It's
kinda
weird,
nice.
yeah.
You get the sweatshirt on right away. So when we're coming back from Valdosta, it's I don't know. It's only a 2-hour drive, so it's an easy drive. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I get 65 miles of gas when I get on in Valdosta, and I'm like, all right, I'll find a place to go.
How long's the trip home? How many miles till
It's
you get
2
home?
hours. I don't know. So it's probably like 100. I
100.
know I'm not getting home.
It's like 100 plus miles.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I know I'm not getting home. But we get to like exit 301, and I'm convinced around Lake City, and I'm like, there's a couple of exits that I think I can get off here to get gas.
But it's one of these slices of highway where
Not
every exit
really.
is like 17 miles apart.
Yeah.
Well, but I thought it was like 301 and then 303, and then I thought you get into where it's not till like 319 or 324 and then
And
333.
then, Case, you get into the situation where you do hop off the off ramp and realize
Nothing
there's
there.
nothing here, not even a pit stop.
So
My man's
anyway,
ran out of gas.
So now I'm running close. Like I know it. You know, you see it in the thing. It says I didn't go in 301.
How many miles
Steph
to
is
empty?
behind me. So I've got.
You're not even in the same car? It's no risk? Oh, this ruined the whole story for me.
There's no risk.
How many miles to empty were you?
After 301?
Yeah, you were looking at it,
I was
freaking
like,
out.
Oh yeah, I think I had 18 miles.
But you can't trust that 18.
But
Especially
you don't
in a
know.
truck.
Yeah, you never know the 18.
You never know.
In
Okay,
a truck,
so-
he goes 250 feet. It's going to be like 15 gallons of gas right there.
So I think around I think it's 319 or 318. There's a mobile station off this small. There's nothing else off this exit, but it says on the phone it's closed.
Oh,
and I'm like, oh my gosh! So I definitely can make it there. I can make it there, but it's closed. I got to get off and see if this is because I'm not making it much past this. Now I'm just I'm running out of gas. I know I'm going to run out of gas. So I get off. It's closed. I get back on. And the next one that I can get to, I believe, with gas is 333, Baker County.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like, I'm not
Ain't making it.
Well, guess what? I make it to about half a mile before the exit.
A car ran out of gas?
And I ran out of gas.
No way.
Yeah.
That made the story good again.
So I ran out of gas a half a mile away.
How do you as an adult run out of gas in your car?
Well, I just told you how.
This is wild.
But I couldn't believe, first of all, I made it as
That
far
close.
as I did. So
That
I had
makes
an
it
extra,
more annoying.
I had an extra 8 miles that it told me.
Were you excited
And
to
I've
see
always
how far
kind
you
of wondered.
get?
Yeah, I kind of wondered, all right, how much is this lying to me?
Yeah.
And so.
Because they want you to handle it.
All right, so the last part, so Steph, she's pissed at me, right?
I love that.
So,
Yes.
She's kind of good about it, but she's still like, you're an idiot,
she's like,
right?
you're an idiot, you grown man. How you running out of gas?
So she beeps going by.
She's like,
She's got to buy the gas tank.
Yes.
Right, the gas thing. Fills it up 1 gallon, a small one.
Just to get
she
you
has
there.
to go back 10 miles
To turn around. Just
And then-
drive backwards for a half
I
second.
know. I was like, it's so dark out.
On
I'm
the
like, maybe
median,
you can
just
cut
cut it.
across or something. I was like, I don't know. Then she gets stuck, then we're all screwed. But so I'll tell you the hardest thing about the whole deal. First of all, you don't want to be 11 o'clock with trucks going by on the side,
I
right
guess
on
not.
I-10.
Yeah.
Not fun. Not a fun feeling.
Yeah.
But the other part is these damn little gas tanks, getting them the ones you put your fuel in for your mower and stuff. They make them so hard because they don't want anything to spill in your car.
Oh, okay. You struggled with it a little bit.
Dark. I've got the phones out trying to figure out how the hell. I feel like such an idiot. We eventually got there.
That's great.
Ran out of gas. I think that's the third time in my life I've run out of
Third
gas.
time?
Yeah.
That'll never
First
happen
time
to
in
me.
18 years.
It'll never happen to me.
No?
No.
Oh, gosh.
I got alarms going off in my head.
It'll
50
definitely
miles
happen
to
again to
empty.
me.
50 miles to empty. I'm like, oh, we got to get somewhere immediately.
So funny. Ty didn't even say anything. He was just shaking his head. You're an idiot.
Oh, that Steph is driving by waving at you. See ya.
See you later. See you on CBS 47, Fox 30. Tonight on TV. We're back at it tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242.